Good evenings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Faye, and I'll be your caster for this evening, waiting on Jace to join us tonight. The draft is already underway for DZG versus OGF. From the DZG side, we see Seraphine first ban, as well as Volibear first ban from OGF. Really strong bans. Seraphine has a lot of strong presence right now in the 5v5 scene, with Encore being so powerful, and Volibear has been a star pick for DZG's jungler. Second ban from DZG will be Gwen, who has been very powerful in the top lane, consistently banned throughout this entire series from DZG. Cassiopeia going down as well on OGF, trying to put a little bit of pressure on Scoops, the mid laner for DZG, who has been a very star player for them as well. Looking for a third ban here now from Olympus. I'm looking for something targeting the jungle since we don't have any jungle bans out right now, and with a lot of the ban changes in jungle, it'd be interesting to see what happens. We will be seeing a set ban instead, actually, focused on the top lane, trying to knock them out. Last ban from OGF, I'm expecting Orianna to try to really take away the main two picks from Olympus's mid laner. They will be taking away Jin Zhao. Instead, two bans falling towards Olympus to the jungler, as well as a flex pick on Volley, so that could also go for a top lane pick. Looking for a Kai'Sa lock-in for DZG's ADC. I'm expecting to see a Nautilus to follow this up. It'll be interesting to see what we pick to counter the Kai'Sa here on OGF. We'll be seeing Karma going out. She could flex to mid or supportive roles, so I'm expecting to see her in the bot lane with really strong poke to keep Kai'Sa out of a fight. It would be a very good pick, especially with the Jinx here. A very strong hyper carry ADC. If she can get those 3 items she needs to do damage, she can run away with this game, so... Oh, instead of the Jinx, we're going to have a Hecarim lock-in maybe instead. Hecarim has still been very present, had a very good presence in the jungle recently, so no surprises here. Unless they do take the Jinx. Alright, I'm just being tugged around. I stand by what I said. Jinx is a very good hyper carry, a very good pick into Kai'Sa. Very solid champion. All she needs to do is just get 1 kill to get a lead, and then she can just run away with this game. And it's hard for Kai'Sa to keep up with that. Especially if OGF drafts a more tanky composition, Kai'Sa can't really deal with a tank, whereas Jinx can. We will be seeing Hecarim going to DZG, though. Again, very good jungler, has always been, really good engage for their team, and he sets up for Kai'Sa as well, part CC. And to complement Kai'Sa, we will be having Rel, who has been a star pick from support as one of his better support champions. OGF might be picking away the Orianna from Scoops instead of banning it. And then it'll be interesting to see what they ban out next for Scoops, as his 2 main picks have been taken away. We know he likes to mostly play control mages. Good evening, Jace.
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing good. Draft has already gone underway.
Fantastic. If I can get the link, I'll join right in on.
It is in chat. Right now, Jace, we have Kai'Sa, Hecarim, and Rel drafted for DZG, and OGF has drafted Karma, Jinx, and Graves. Bans that we saw already on DZG side were Seraphine, Gwen, and Set, and OGF has banned Jin Zhao, Cassiopeia, and Volibear. On DZG, they just banned Silas, and OGF just banned out Rise and Orianna. A lot of pressure falling onto Scoops. We're kind of expecting that.
Absolutely. With how Scoops has been performing, even in losses, his damage output has been absolutely insane. So definitely targeting his champion pool and eliminating a lot of the options. Last week, I know that we saw his Rise really coming into some insane performance. Every Realm Warp just felt like it gained so much value. So definitely great champions to take away, especially now, like eliminating some of the wombo combo that you might see coming out of DZG, like the Malphite and the Orianna combo that they've had access to before.
Well, they did ban Silas, and they are picking up Vagrant for OGF's mid laner. I am expecting them to pick Malphite here with the Rel, Kai'Sa, Hecarim. It's just a matter of what we want to see from the mid lane. I personally am a big fan of Victor in this composition, but I just think Victor is a very good mid laner. Vel'Koz wouldn't be bad either.
Victor offers so much with the damage output that you get from the lasers and the E, and also the zone control that you get, but not a Malphite. It looks like we might be getting an Ornn instead. Still 15 seconds left for that pick timer to wind down, but definitely seeing these two last solo laners come out. It's gonna be really interesting to watch.
We have been seeing Tony Lowe playing a lot more Ornn. He's pretty alright. The champion Ornn offers a lot to his team, especially allowing more scaling potential into the later phase of the game with Ornn items.
Those
Like
tournaments start coming in, and we might get that Victor you were talking about.
I'm serious. The Victor here is really good. Like this composition, this is a great Victor composition. He has a lot of AoE to help set up for his Chaos Storm as well as his W. Instead, we might get a Rumble. Still a really good pick, though. I'm not too sure how I personally feel about Rumble mid.
Really, Rumble mid, it's really dependent on the lane opponent. And with a Vigar, getting out of the baby cage, you have to be really quick with your scrap shield, and hopefully, he doesn't put it right on the center, because you're just going to be chilling in there for a little bit, and then Graves is able to come in and layer a lot of damage, so it's going to be a late lane phase, but that Wombo late game phase is going to be absolutely insane. Hecarim goes in, Kais is able to join from anywhere, Rel layers stuff up with an Ornhorn, and you put the equalizer on top. That is a lot of wombo that you have, but to offer a lot of interruption.
Low cooldown Rumble ult.
Oh, absolutely, but we're talking about wombo combo and really impactful ultimates. The Wukong is able to offer so much chaos in a fight and interruption that maybe it will buy the rest of his team the time that they need to be able to really let the Graves, Jinx, and Vigar do what they need to do. Karma's going to offer a lot of shield and give them a lot of escape too, so that's something to consider.
That's the only thing they really got going for them. Like this team, I'm not seeing a lot of peel potential from this team outside of Mantra Shield from Karma and Vagar's Baby Cage. I guess Wukong can buy them some space, Smokescreen can try and buy them space. The most this team can do is just buy time, but how much time is enough time against this kind of a hard dive composition?
Oh, certainly. And, just some of the things that we definitely have to watch out for, though, is we have the late game scaling really coming through from both teams. Rumble's able to do a lot, Kais is able to do a lot, and Ornn really provides that late game insurance policy. And then we look from the side of Omega Gaming. They do have a lot with the Vigar and the Jinx damage scaling potential here. But another thing to consider, Faye, is yes, they don't have a lot of peel, but that Karma offers so much that you sometimes don't really need a front line.
That is very, very fair. That Mantra shield on the initial target is just absolutely enormous, and it's really hard to cut through. If anyone on the team could build it, Serpent's Fang might not be the worst item here.
Especially if you're the side of Dreadzone Gaming, right? You're gonna want these big team fights. If you're the Karma, you should be dropping that Mantra E and then eliminating the amount of shielding that they're gonna get to be able to survive the burst coming down from the equalizer, and then the time that they're gonna be CC'd up from the Rel and potentially the Ornn as well.
Exactly. They're going to need the Serpent's Fang to really cut through the Karma Shield on the side of DZG. Because that Karma Shield can really change a fight. It's so powerful, it's so impactful, and this is the reason why Karma just recently had to get a nerf, is because she just has so much impact in a game. But we're going to see tonight just how impactful those nerfs were, and if they could take her down a notch.
Absolutely, and also, it would set the Kaisa a little bit back in the itemization as well, so she's the most optimal person to pick up that item, so it definitely has to go in her pockets. For the effectiveness to really be there. So, definitely seeing how people are going to be itemizing, keeping an eye on stopwatches as we move throughout this game is going to be huge too. Offering another layer of disruption to the burst and team fight kind of potential that this team has. Well, yes, this team can absolutely, and talking about this side of Dreadzone, let me be specific here. Well, yes, this team can front to back really well, but they really want to be layering these ultimates, before they get blown up, because Graves has a lot of burst damage, especially if he goes electrocute, right? But I think right now Graves are taking phase rush. I'd have to double check. I haven't played too much lately.
He also did just get nerfed in this patch too.
And I will definitely review those as we go through the break. The burst potential that Vigar has, and Wukong, if he goes lethality, or even just the normal bruiser build, his Q smacks like a freight truck. So definitely keeping an eye on, Dreadzone really getting the full use out of their ultimates before they lose some key members is definitely going to be, I think, how this game's going to play out. But, Faye, every single time we go in thinking we know how these games are going to go out,
We always get surprised.
yeah, like lane phase can go any which direction, right? The Wukong and Ornn, like the Wukong should win that early, but the Ornn, should play safe, scale up. I think the Vygar definitely has the upper hand in the mid lane matchup, and I think that it really all depends on what support's able to do on this rel to really influence this bot lane. And I can't really speak too intelligently on this jungle matchup, but watching this early game is going to be really telling. If the Graves is able to impact the mid lane and really get this Vygar snowballing, that's going to be dangerous for the side of Dread Zone. But with that being said, Faye, any last things you want to talk about before we head into our spectator break?
They didn't draft any tanks, so Kaisa should be able to actually play the game, so that'll be fun.
Maybe Kaisa will be able to play the game. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going into our spectator break. We'll see you in roughly 3 minutes, assuming there are no pauses. So stay tuned. We're bringing you Dread Zone Gaming Olympus versus Omega Gaming Fury right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we're just waiting for the magical little play button to get a little bit of action going. And so, kind of looking at these lineups, Faye, how are you feeling about both teams going into this?
I'm kind of biased towards this Jinx winning in the bot lane just because they have so much more poke over this Rel and Kai'Sa, and the outrange early. It's going to be hard for them to deal with that. But in the mid lane side as well, like all over across this map, I think that Olympus just gets outranged in the laning phase, and laning phase really kind of dictates how a game goes in the current meta, so might be a little bit rough for them early.
Right, and we're seeing the standard 5-point setup here from both teams. As you know, the standard river visions being dropped, nothing too exciting, except for Karma doing her things with her spell thieves, getting a little bit of gold in her pocket. But let's take a look at some of these records. And I think this is Pepsi's first time. Let me double check. No, second time. Pepsi has played the Kai'Sa once. Went 10-4-7 in their game versus Binks Gaming Calico. But we've seen Civil play this Jinx now 3 times. And it looks like once, twice, 3 times, all with this Karma. So this is a bot lane that they're used to playing together. Both Ahop and King Civil playing this Jinx Karma. That they only have a 1-3 record with it, so they've only won 1 game and have lost 2. And then Pepsi and Support have played this Kai'Sa Rel together. So there definitely seems like they have their preferences in these bot lane matchups, and whether that's the players or the coaches, I can't speak too accurately on, but maybe without revealing too much, you've worked with Coach Aiden before. Is that something he typically likes to do?
Aiden, this is a composition that not only Aiden's used to, but Support is used to this. This is a very popular, very staple lane from when Tree Breeze was Support's ADC instead. They would constantly do Kai'Sa Nolus or Kai'Sa Rel, and Rel is just a very staple ADC or support for Support to be playing. He always has done really well. He tends to find those really big Magnet Storm ulti plays consistently in every single game he's gotten it. So I'm very excited to see what he can do after it's been so long since I've gotten to see him play it.
Right, and we saw a little bit of that trade pattern coming out here in the mid lane from the Vygar, but now we're seeing the gank coming, the EUs, and the instant flash. The Vygar knew that he was about to get E'd into that rumble and maybe have a bad time. I don't know if that would have been a kill. It would have been a pretty long walk. Especially with Conquer there, but we're seeing a little bit of trading pattern come out here. A lot of damage as the Kai'Sa passive procced onto the Karma there, and we're seeing more trading coming out of the top lane. As I'm surprised that Tony Liu is coming out positive on these trades. So seeing a lot of that trading action back and forth.
Early. Or just so much more tanky early than the Wukong, and he was only level 2, I think, at the time of the trade. Wukong's trade really only comes from bursty little moments with jumping in with the Q and then Wing out. That's all the really damage that he can do. Meanwhile, Ornn is so much tanky. He has his Fire Breath, his passive that he can work with. He just has a lot more damage, and Wukong struggles to walk away once he's on top of the Ornn.
That Brittle does so much damage. It's why people meme and call him a tank assassin. And it's so true. That that health damage. It's insane. And if you connect with that auto attack coming out, it's so much damage from that Ornn. So. As we're seeing things we're in that little state. Things are just vibing as Ghost is popped, E is used, and still, that was a weird interaction. He connected through the baby cage, and not going to have too much more follow-up as the Vygar is able to walk out. That is a summoner burned from the Hecarim as he attempted to get in there, but that was really funny to watch. Hecarim went in, smacked the Vygar, but instantly couldn't follow through because he was hit up by that baby cage, locking him in place. So really funny interaction there.
Would have been a little better if they tried to beat out that baby cage before the gang and try and communicate that a little bit better, but I mean, they're still putting a lot of pressure in this mid lane. And we see Graves about to flank the bot lane. We'll see it, and as we're going in,
Rel goes in, a lot of damage going out. And the first blood does go over to the Rel. I think the Ignite took a little bit. Graves now walking in. The passive's starting to stack on this Jinx, but the smoke screen comes out. It's going to interrupt a lot. Ooh, the double kill coming over now. I think the Jinx is trying to hide. I'm sorry, the Kai'Sa is trying to hide in the minion wave as the Graves does secure the kill. Both of those kills going over to Support, not ideal, as I think the Graves will pick up 2 here. Rel gets the transformation, does manage to get out with that leap. And 2 kills going over to the side of DZG, but 1 being picked up by the side of Omega Gaming Fury. And I'd say ultimately that's worth because now the Hecarim is able to, invade the top side of the map. I don't think it's gonna cost them Dragon. Um and yeah, but unfortunately you really would like to see Kaisa getting those kills.
It's a little unfortunate. But this is a tank support, so at least now your front line is getting tankier earlier. So I mean, it's not like the worst thing in the world,
Well, it's the
but it's
pseudo
still
tank
not
support.
ideal.
Um
Listen, let that support live its life. You don't need to put labels on it.
no, Ro is extremely tanky and is able to do a lot and become that real big meat wall. But Graves is taking a lot of damage here. Uses a
They
smite
will
for
be
health.
getting this dragon though.
Yeah, and they do get it for free. I don't think that that the side of Dread Zone Gaming really had any vision there to identify that that was happening. As the bot lane was able to reset, had their buys, were able to get into position. But Faye, this pressure coming out of the mid lane, this Rumble's doing fantastic. From the side of Monster Penguin in this lane, up CS in the melee versus ranged matchup, as Tony takes a trade onto the clone here, not gonna get too much as his bone plating was proc there, and they just kind of doing the boring top lane stuff.
The
But
island.
I mean, look at the CS numbers. Dreadzone is doing fantastic as we might have a little bit going in here. Will he pull the Ornhorn? And I don't think he uses the flash. The instant W coming out from the Wukong there does get him away and didn't get that brittle popped on that Bellows Breath. But we have a gank coming in here in the mid lane as, Mobster waits out the baby cage, starts walking down, joined by the bot lane of DZG. As we see a teleport channeled in, I think that's going to be the Wukong. 100% is. And this Vigar is going to have to back soon. He's at no CS, or not no CS. He's at no mana, just kind of chilling here. So what's going to be the big turning point for you, Faye? What are your eyes on?
My eyes are on right now how many stacks this Veigar can get. How late does this game run? Because while yes, Olympus is winning right now, and that's fantastic, they're winning right now. When there is a hyper carry in this game and a Veigar, they're on a timer. I ideally want to see this game over by 30 minutes because once we hit that 30-minute marker in this game, their chances of winning just kind of go down the gutter. Once Veigar gets his Archangels and his Ludens, he's going to do a lot of damage. He's going to be a threat on the team. And Jinx only needs 3 items to be able to really shred through Olympus.
So we see the Hecarim waiting here right now. He has ult available. I think it's what? Relentless Onslaught is what it's called? Something like that. And he pops Ghost going in. Ult's behind. Ult's the Jinx in, or ease the Jinx into the bot lane of DZG. And Pepsi does secure that kill. Rumble was here for good measure. Ready with that equalizer. Not needed. And another kill going over to the side of DZG's bot lane. 1.5k gold lead. Now separating these two teams. And there's nothing really for them to get in the bot lane. And the Graves was not in position for the Herald, so overall, huge net positive right there for DZG as they're going to crash this wave and take their recall. And yeah,
And
I'd
their
love to
ADC
see
got
these
the
map
kill.
movements. Yeah, that's what they wanted. So I'd really love to see these map movements as, the Karma's looking with the Graves, not going to get anything. It's just going to interrupt and delay some of that recall timer here.
I would have went with him towards that mid side. Like, there's nothing left to do in bot. You already lost that fight. You might as well see if you can't try and get your mid laner going because at this point, your ADC's early is just gone. Top lane is still in a neutral state. Mid lane is falling behind. If you're right now, this Graves' best bet is to focus on the mid top side of the map to try and put pressure there. What he's lacking in bot lane needs to be put into top or mid.
And this Wukong can't contest these plates right now, as he actually does go in for the ultimate. He's smacking down this Ornn. The second use of the ultimate comes out, and the Hecarim now needs to come in here. Ornhorn comes out. Will it connect? It will connect, and they get the kill. It looks like Ornn did fall down to the Graves. I can't tell. It was not the ultimate. It looked like it was just a end of the line coming, not the end of the line, the Q hitting into the wall. As Graves picks up another one, I think that one was the end of the line. Damage coming out now. It's going to be close, but I think that the Graves does have the damage to secure the Rumble before the Rumble's able to burn. And I think this Graves is now going to clear this ward and probably turn his sights onto the Rift Herald. 2 more kills going over to this Graves. He's 4-0. That is a scary threat for the side, or from the side, rather, of Omega Gaming Fury.
They did just nerf Graves, but those nerfs are really not shining through in this game. He is still an absolute menace to the team. We got the kill early on the Kaisa. He got more kills here in top lane. He got 3 of them. This guy is a menace right now. And here's the hoping Olympus has an answer for this problem. Haha, that's a math fun.
Uh, I've been teaching students all day, and we have one instructor. Oh, Faye, you're killing me. But, you know, the Graves has the Herald. There's not a lot of strength in his laners himself. This Graves needs to be the X factor on the map. Needs to pick somewhere to really influence things, and needs to barrel it down. So I know you're a really big Dreadzone fan, as am I. But you know, like if you're an Omega Gaming Fury fan, like that's what you want to see. Graves to pick somewhere to focus, really get things ahead. Because look at the little gold bordered items on the map, Faye. There's one, and it's in the pocket of this Graves, who's sitting 4-0 with a 13 CS lead, and arguably has just been so efficient here with timing to turn these ganks around, or plays around, right? He got the kills in the bot lane. He got the kill in the
We're seeing
double
the
kill in the
Rift
top lane.
Herald
So.
dropping mid too, it looks like. Yeah,
Well,
there it
like...
goes. Trying to push pressure on these plates. And Olympus really isn't answering to this. Like, Rumble is really struggling to answer this Rift Herald push. And this is a lot of gold going over to the Veigar and the Graves. Right now, what I want to see is what I wanted to see from
We're seeing a lot of fighting right now, Faye, as the Baby Cage comes down all in on top of this Rumble, as the Rumble does fall to the Veigar, so looks like that play working out there. We see the teleport coming out now. I don't know if they're going to be able to get much out of this, but the Ocean Drake was secured by the side of Dreadzone. And, you know, Ornn joined in here really low. I think he was losing that trade to the Wukong, as the Wukong used the all-in on the ultimate. I don't know if the Ornn fought too hard because his ultimate's still available. So Dreadzone picks up the Ocean Drake, but at the cost of the Rumble in the mid lane, who, you know, this Graves has been trying to equal out a lot of that pressure that, you know, Power over Ethernet has been putting into that mid lane. The CS value is still looking really good if you're a Dreadzone fan here. Top's about even, which is, you know, what you can expect from the tank Bruiser matchup. The Rumble surprisingly ahead into this range matchup, but makes sense with the amount of pressure. And there looks like to be a, I'd call it a natural 14 CS lead for the side of Dreadzone in the bot lane. So things kind of just chilling here, but you know, the gold lead has shifted, and it's now sitting in the in favor of Omega Gaming here, and it's on that Graves.
See, this Graves is doing exactly what he needed to do. He lost his bot lane, and he might not be able to really change the tide of that since Power over Ethernet is catering to his bot side a lot more. He looked for the lead elsewhere in the top and mid side of the map. He's now getting his mid laner back up and put into this game. He got the Rift Herald as well. More pressure in the mid lane to equal out what Power over Ethernet achieved earlier. He's playing this map exactly how he needs to. And now he's coming into the top lane, looking to put more pressure up there as well.
And he has that shield bow. He's going to be a very tanky member. So it's not going to be an easy time to blow up this Graves like you'd want to do. But you know, you still have a lot of those powerful options. And you talked about it earlier. You're worried about that 30-minute mark. And honestly, Faye, just to see some good League of Legends, I would like to see this game go late. I want to see the side of Olympus really utilize their wombo combo effectively. I want to see it happen in these team fights and things to really just go, you know, in an awesome manner.
This game is, they're going to get that point in like the 20 to 30 minute mark, and then it's going to coin flip at the 30-minute mark. My prediction for this game, right now, I feel as if Olympus is going to somehow get the lead back. They're going to have really good fights between the 20 to 30-minute mark where they team fight in group. And then there's going to be a coin flip fight at 30 minutes that's going to debate how the game goes. That is my prediction for this game right now.
I don't know. I really don't want to see it come down to a coin flip. I would like to see one team really just execute things well, and take a solid grasp of this game, because I don't know if my heart can handle it for game one, Faye.
I like the excitement for game one. Kick it off with a bang with that good old coin flip. Here comes Power over Ethernet looking for the fight.
Oh, and they throw that Jinx in. She has nowhere to go as Power over Ethernet does secure that kill. Once again, you hate to see it. If you're a Dread Zone fan, you want to see that going over to the Kai'Sa. But another kill onto this Jinx, who is just not having the time. And that's going to really delay what this hyper carry wants to do in the game. So it's going to be up to this Vygar to really, secure things as you talked about. Got back, or put back into the game from the pressure that the Graves was able to get in here. So we got to really keep our eyes on this. Is it going to be a tale of Dread Zone's bot lane versus the enemy jungle mid combo of Omega Gaming? And we shall see. His first tower falls, but, gold lead is not existent. It's dead even right now. So it is a nail biter of an early game. And we've got the next strike coming up here in a minute. I'm super excited to see who really wants this, because Cloud Drake means we're seeing more of these Hecarim ults, more of the Rumbles. And honestly, I think the Cloud Drakes really favor the side of Dread Zone in this series. I think they want them more. While yes, Wukong Cyclone is absolutely massive, I definitely think you're getting a lot more mileage out of the Equalizer, out of the Ornhorn, out of the Onslaught of Shadows, or whatever the heck remote's called. As we see, Karma going in, getting the root onto the Rel there, but nothing really to follow up, as Graves does look to pressure into the jungle, and he's a scary boy. Carpet coming down, and now the Hecarim is looking. Hecarim gets on top, knocks the Graves back in. Graves ults out, getting a lot of shielding. Holy hell, that damage was absolutely massive, as the Graves shuts down the Hecarim, getting so much more big, rather. And I think it was the Kai'Sa forced to use the Blast Cone to get out. The Graves, absolutely scary. I couldn't tell. I think that, yes, that wasn't the Karma. As we see the Wukong go in, get a lot of damage out onto the Rumble there, taking the Rumble down. Shield coming out from the Karma, really helping Wukong survive that last tower shot. And wow, just so much going on. But excuse me, it wasn't the Karma shield on that Graves. It was actually the shield bow coming in there, letting him survive that burst. So a lot going on there. Sorry, Faye, just wanted to get that point out, but go ahead.
This game, I might be wrong. This game might be very firmly in the palm of Omega Gaming here. This Graves is an absolute monster, and DZG is just really struggling to deal with him right now.
Well, they didn't really have all the options there to layer the damage, as instantly the Jinx flashes out as soon as she sees that Hecarim ult start coming her way. She has learned her lesson very well, I'd say.
She's being beaten up right now. I feel like I'm watching a bunch of schoolyard bullies take a little kid's lunch money.
Jinx is not having a great game, but, this Graves really saying, hey, don't worry, I got this. As Rumble going in now, getting the slowdown, forcing the flash out of the Vygar. Vygar still holding onto that ult and chunking that Rumble to half. Rumble's like, hey, maybe I don't want this as much as I thought I did. Vygar's hanging out here, sees the Rumble hanging out in the minion wave, might look for something cheeky, or doesn't have access to the flash, and Mobster doesn't spot him out, and Manatsu just, I guess, saying, hey, you know what, I'd rather not take the 50-50 here. Oh, wait, maybe.
Goodness,
as he drops the W, the Rumble knows it's here now. The damage coming out, Flame Spritter does have enough to kill the Vygar before the Vygar is able to get the Rumble low enough to be able to do anything. But, yeah, Vygar, you bit off a bit more than you could chew there.
They're just dancing, They're just having a little foray. As mid laners do in the bot lane. Nothing else to really do anyways. You might as well fight each other to the death.
Hey, when you got a side lane, you got a side lane, so...
The rule of thumb of all mid laners that has never spoken, you fight to the death. The first one to back is a coward.
Well, Faye, we've been talking about how much, this game has shifted, and we felt like the power has shifted here, but gold lead's still even, as Wukong is now getting a lot of mileage out of that Divine Thunder. Look at that healing. It might be time for a Bramble Vest here, Tony. As, he's building something, and what are we gonna get? Bramble Vest! So yes, it definitely was time for that Bramble Vest. And he's like, oh shit, that Divine Thunder is doing work. Now it's gonna do a little bit less, and I don't know if it's gonna put the trade pattern in Tony Lil's favor, but it's for sure gonna help. As that CS is still even, Tony Lil hanging in fantastically, but Graves is now on his butt, chasing him down in the top lane, and I think they just might look to 3-man this top lane with that Rift Herald that is sitting in the Graves pocket. When it comes down to neutral objectives this game, PoE has definitely been getting it handed to him by Septi.
He really has. This Graves is really good at rotating with the objectives, being able to sneak them out, really good at getting them Or he has really good jungle mapping of guessing where Power Ring Ethan is and just being where he isn't.
Oh, fantastic use of the onslaught of shadows there to interrupt the baby cage. Does he have the damage? He does.
Ooh!
That Conqueror coming in clutch and barely enabling the Hecarim to survive the damage, as the Vigar will once again fall in the side lane. And I don't think that's where you want to be anymore, Manatsu. Like, you are not having fun. Graves is here, and oh my god, Faye, did you see that one auto did half of that Hecarim's remaining health bar, as Graves now slides into 6-0. Septi being huge on his performance in this game.
You know, Graves is a fun and balanced champion.
Well, we're now seeing the fight break out again, as we're seeing multiple fights back, and I think that the Karma will fall, and on this top side of the map, I can't imagine that the Ornn will be able to survive this as both flashes come out. He's waiting for that E to come up, but
Oh!
had
The
the range, because
Q!
the Q gives you the range, and the Ornn will fall to the 1v1 matchup. Tony Lil falling to Lunakun on this Wukong. Wow,
That is
so much going on.
unfortunate. There's action all over the map. Action-packed video games.
So, yeah, just a quick reminder to everybody. We did have a 1-for-1 trade. The Karma fell in the mid, and the Ornn falling in the top. And, ladies and gentlemen, we're still dead even, like, to the 100s in this gold score. So, something will have to give to break this game open for either side. As, you know, they're just trading back and forth. But, you know, I honestly, Faye, in a perfect world, I don't know who wins the full-on 5v5. This Graves is so massive. If you're not really able to deal with him first and isolate him out, he's just gonna really layer on the damage here, and especially being augmented by these Karma Shields. You look at the itemization from the Kaisa, sitting on that Gale Force, sitting on that Collector, there's no Surface Fang, so these shields are going to be insanely effective from both the Immortal Shield, though, and from what this Karma is able to provide for team.
You know, if we're talking about a perfect world situation, then in this perfect world situation, I believe that DZG will win if they get the perfect team fight. Hecarim going in, Rel's Magnet Storm, Equalizer from Rumble on top of that, followed by the Ornn Horn, Kaisa going in with her missiles. It's so much burst damage. It's so hard for them to deal with that if they're locked in that CC chain, Karma ideally can't get that mantra shield off. The only issue would be the shield bow from
Well, we're gonna see a
Graves.
fight now as the Equalizer's already dropped. Ornhorn comes in, and it looks like we got a few flashes over. We'll take a look here in a second. Power from that locked up in that baby cage. Vigar will take him down. Now it looks like Septi on this Graves will be the target, and that's a lot of gold going over to that Kaisa. Support now being just shredded by this Wukong, and Karma looks like will not be able to complete that tether as a flash coming out from this Kaisa. Kaisa now on their own, kind of looking for this last-ditch effort, as we're seeing so many bodies just hit the floor. It looks like we got 2 dead on the side of Omega Gaming, 3 dead on the side of DZG, as we're looking for the 4 members now of, I'm sorry, only 1 dead on the side of Omega Gaming, as the 4 remaining members do lock down Tony Lil on this Ornn. Herald summoned in the bot lane, and they have the members here to blow it up. And that just did not go in DZG's favor. They had a little bit of a degree of separation with the Equalizer and the Ornhorn. And while, yes, Dreadzone was able to kill Septi in this insanely powerful Graves, you know, Vigar was able to do a lot, and so was this Wukong coming in. And we're seeing a lot of bounties on the side of Omega Gaming. You cannot, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot ask me how bounties work. How this Jinx has a bounty, I have no clue. But for some reason, Jinx has 150 gold bounty. You're seeing the bounty on this Vigar, and you're seeing the bounty on the Wukong. So there's still a lot of gold coming out to get. And another thing to look at, Kaisa got a lot of gold there, getting that 800 gold shutdown on the Graves. So still a lot to be looking at here, as, you know, Omega Gaming has taken a 2K lead, and Kaisa is deleted from League of Legends, ladies and gentlemen. Faye, go ahead and give me some of your thoughts.
Well, we are hitting that point in the game where Veigar is now a champion. He probably has a lot of AP from his passive stacks. So he's going to start becoming a real big problem.
Oh my, this
Oh
Graves
my
is
lord,
so
this
strong.
healing. They
And
need grievous wounds.
yeah, and he just didn't have it there. And that was only really from Fleet Footwork, and what I have to assume was just
Vampiric
that
Scepter.
yeah, that Vamp Scepter, and, you know, maybe Bloodline. I can't tell what his secondary tree is. But, you know, PoE played that really well. Just bouncing around, making sure that the Graves AoE damage from the shotgun shots were hitting him as he attempted to hit that tower. But they got away out of that tower range, and that Graves damage. You can tell this man is 7-1 on this champion. It is insane amount of damage he's able to put out.
This Graves is just at a point where, like, their entire team is honestly at a point where, like, they're getting so hard to deal with. They have so much more damage, and the gold lead is just tittering more and more over into the favor of Omega here. And it's only going to keep going. Veigar has so much AoE damage. Jinx is only going to get stronger. She almost is at that third item. And Graves is already, like, he did what he needed to do. He was the early game anchor that got them through the early game, and he's going to carry them into the late game.
Oh, and you step into that baby cage, you're having a bad time, as Manatsu is now unstoppable in this Veigar, catching out this Rumble and eviscerating him. You're sitting on an Everfrost, you're sitting on a Rabadon, this Veigar is terrifying. And Omega Gaming know that they're in a super strong spot. They don't have to worry about the equalizer, so they're just going to turn onto this Nash, and I don't think that Dreadzone is able to answer.
There is no answer for this, and Power over Ethernet trying to go for the Hail Mary here, going in a little bit too early for the steal.
And he just did not have the vision.
The only thing that's really left for them to do is to just get that mid-inner and just back, but they're going to push down with Baron, and Tony Lil's also going to fall for trying to help out Power over Ethernet here.
Yep, Wukong, Lunakun on this Wukong definitely uses the flash to get the last little bit of damage onto that Ornn. And I think they're just going to tank and take this mid lane tower, and it's theirs to get. And honestly, Faye, unless Dreadzone Gaming come out with the God Engage here, this is Omega's game to lose. They have the Nash, they're in the driver's seat. Their Veigar is online. The Jinx is sitting at 2 items. Like, yeah, she didn't get killed, she didn't win lane, but she's activated in my personal opinion. This Wukong's doing work. He's able to win the side lane fights against Tony Lil. Nobody can really answer the Veigar, I don't think, 1v1. Hecarim can't deal with the Graves, and just all around, if they're not able to get this perfect team fight, they're just not going to be able to pull off this game. And even if they do, like I said, we're seeing it now as a beautiful engage coming out from this support on the Rel. And, the damage coming out, but is it going to be enough? Septi is now the target as Kai'Sa is laying into him, but no, the Graves takes down the Rel. Wukong is now here to offer the interruption that we talked about, and is now blowing up the Kai'Sa. The Hecarim dies to the Veigar, Kai'Sa dies to the Wukong, and all this time, Jinx is just smacking stuff in the base. The teleport's coming out now, the Rumble will be the target. 5 members still strong for the side of Omega Gaming, and I think this is the game, ladies and gentlemen. A pre-30-minute win. 27 minutes coming from the side of Omega Gaming, and when they activated, they looked like a completely different team.
That Graves is just absolutely problematic for Olympus to try to shoot through. They just couldn't deal with him. And with no grievous wounds from anyone on their team, there was so much healing from that Graves, they just couldn't get him down. Once that carry gets ahead, you have to stop what you're doing and get at least an Oblivion over an Executioner's Blade to try and deal with that.
Imagine being in a game where you have a Veigar, a Jinx, even a Wukong, and you're the jungle Graves, and you had the most damage. Like, he did work. But Dreadzone, there were a lot of good things to see from them that they can execute, and if they just make sure that the Graves isn't able to play cleanup crew, because that's exactly what happened. Graves was in the right place at the right time to get a lot of these kills after things just, didn't go well for Omega Gaming, right? Because initially a lot of these weren't going their way, but Graves was there, able to clean things up, get a lot of the gold in the pocket, and then did exactly what I said Omega Gaming fans would want. He picked a location, he snowballed it, got this Veigar into the game, right? And then just through time and farm, Jinx was able to get in and start doing work. And I don't even know how Jinx lost her bounty, because she never died, but she had 150 gold bounty and then lost it. So League of Legends, if you could explain that to me, I would love that math chart. But that's all I've really got. Like, Faye, what do you really want to see coming out of adaptations into the draft phase? As that's what's coming up next on our table.
I'm looking for this Graves ban because this game showed me that Olympus just could not handle this Graves. And the only answer to handling him better was to know where is Graves going to be on the map relative to where we are, to what we're doing right now. And I
Right.
just don't think they had that.
Okay, so you're definitely looking for a grave spam, but yeah, some way to manage what that jungler was able to do. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be away for a couple of minutes as both teams load into the lobby, get everything situated, and we get those new draft links. So catch us just in a few moments for Dreadzone Gaming Olympus versus Omega Gaming Fury Game 2.
Keep moving on. Keep moving on. They say I have a grim sense of humor.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back and bringing you the draft phase for the second game of Dreadzone Gaming versus Omega Gaming Fury. We're seeing that Volibear coming out to initially start Omega Gaming's draft, and Dreadzone responding with a win. So, what do you said you're expecting to see that that Graves ban, but Faye, I went back and looked at some of these stats. Lunakun, the jungle for Omega Gaming, really loves playing Hecarim, so that might be something that they look at first picking here for the side of Omega Gaming Fury.
You know, I would rather let them have the Hecarim than the Graves, probably, considering how strong Graves has been. I guess, like, it becomes a matter of comfort versus meta, but I don't know. If you have to, like, pick a poison, you know?
Well, in Dreadzone Gaming, I think is picking their poison and saying, "Hey, no Graves for you. We'll deal with that Hecarim if that's what this side of Omega Gaming wants to go for." And Dreadzone Gaming, I think that if they don't take that blue side Hecarim, they might pick it up themselves, as we actually do see first pick Viego, which, looking back at their history, we haven't seen Omega Gaming play yet.
This could be a flex pick, too. We have seen Viego go into lanes before, so this might be a lane Viego or jungle, so we don't know what we're seeing yet. So this should keep DZG on their toes for what they draft next.
Certainly. So definitely seeing a little bit of a draft flexibility, especially since we haven't seen them play it before. And it looks like, the side of Dreadzone says, "Hey, we really liked how our bot lane performed. We never really got a chance to activate them because other things on the map just did not go our way. Let's run it back." And that's what they're saying. So they go with that comfortable bot lane, and they performed admirably. We saw a lot of things coming out of support on this rel. Getting some things that I thought honestly could turn this game, as we're seeing a lot of bouncing picks here. That looks like they might want their AD carry. Maybe an Ashe, as that's kind of what we solidified. And yes, it is going to be the Ashe, which gives you a lot of power in pro play, or amateur play, right? Like competitive League of Legends, that Hawk Shot is such an invaluable tool, and that pick tool with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow is insane for competitive fives. So I do like that pick.
Not even just like a pick tool, it's a very strong engage tool as well. Ashe, in my opinion, I think is the only ADC who has a pretty reasonable self-sufficient engage. And Scoops does get his rise, so we'll see what goes down the mid lane with that and what Omega decides to answer with.
Right, and one thing I really like about Mobster Penguin on this champion is anytime I see that little green dot on this rise, I'm looking at the map. I'm like, where is he walking? Like, is he heading towards top side? Because I'm gonna see some action top side. Is he walking bot side? Gonna see it there. And definitely always interesting to see the map plays break out as Omega Gaming say, "Hey, look, like if you've got comfort in the mid lane, we're gonna try to take away some of your comfort in the top lane." As if we remember the second round of bans last game, they definitely targeted the mid lane pool without the option to do so. They're going to go for that top lane. And I mean, the most logical pick after you see a Sylas ban, the most logical ban rather after you see a Sylas ban is the Malphite. But Tony Lil wants to run it back and say, "Hey, look, without a Wukong, I'm feeling pretty good about this Ornn pick."
I mean, the Ornn was even like it's not even like they aren't terrible either. It's just like it was just an unfortunate circumstance, you know?
I think it just got to a point where the trading patterns for the Ornn as the game progressed, like he knew what to do in the early lane phases, but once that Divine Sunderer came through and he just kind of disrespected a little bit of the trade values, and Graves upsetting the balance for sure played a factor. We see the Graves come in, or I'm sorry, the Ziggs come in for the side of Omega Gaming Fury, who offers a lot of poke, a lot of zone control sometimes with the satchel charge and the Hexplosive mines, but also that ultimate coming in and just layering a lot of damage as we're seeing the last pick now. Is it a jungle? Is it a top? Faye, I don't know, but I imagine that's going to be a jungle Nocturne and a lane Viego, but I could still be wrong. Actually, just
You
kidding.
are indeed wrong.
It's gonna be the Gnar coming in. It has to be the answer into that Ornn on the top side, and I definitely prefer the Ornn matchup. And Dreadzone with the last pick Hacker and said, hey, this is really what we want. Maybe I've spoken too soon in the past.
Mayhap.
So yeah, that's gonna put Viego in the jungle, and I guess they must be really feeling themselves after Septi's Graves performance, and I don't blame them. But this will be the first time that we're seeing a lot of these champions come out from the side of Omega Gaming, right? We have not seen a Gnar come out from them. We have not seen a Jungle Viego come out from them. We have seen the Ziggs before, not to a win for them. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they play this out. But I really want to keep my eyes on the spot lane. AHOP has not to date played any sort of hook engaged champion. The closest that they have played has been a Galio, and it did not go in their favor. So I'm really interested to see how they're able to pilot this team comp. And we've seen this style come out from Dreadzone Gaming before. We've seen the Relkaisa. We've seen the mid lane Rise. We've seen the top lane Ornn, and we've definitely seen PoE's Hacker.
Well, be careful there because Thresh isn't just engage. He has the ability to also be a disengaged support. He has really good peel. He's kind of an all-rounder. He can kind of do a little bit of everything, and I think that's what just makes him such a staple in the bot lane. He's never really been bad, and he's always been in a very comfortable spot. He's been very consistent, and the only times he really shifts in the meta is if he just gets better. I think the only times he's not been favorable is when Morgana is very favorable, who has been a very common counter for him.
Certainly, I'm just saying that the dynamics of this champion are so different than what we've seen come out of AHOP. We've seen Zyras, we've seen Karmas, and that's typically been the pattern. So this Thresh is definitely, in my opinion, definitely a change of pace. But no, I definitely acknowledge the amount of utility that comes out of this Thresh. So as we're just kind of seeing things go through, I'd personally have to say in the top lane, I certainly favor this this Gnar and the Ornn. I just feel like that range advantage is really hard for this Ornn to deal with. Now, Fate, I've played mid lane before, but one matchup I'm not familiar is the mid lane matchup we're looking at here. How do you feel about it?
So, I've played Ziggs and I've played Rise. No, though not extensively. I've played Ziggs certainly more. I think that this Ziggs can win this matchup because he can just outrange Rise as long as he's careful about where he's positioning in the lane. He cannot get too close to those creeps or he's going to eat a lot of the poke from Rise that just happens to be passive. So as long as he knows how to position, stay away from the minions, not really eat any of that Rise poke, he should be able to outrange him and just bully him out of the lane if Scoops isn't careful. But knowing how Scoops plays and after seeing how Manatsu plays, I'm expecting Scoops to come out on top in this lane. He has so much better wave management, he's really good at poking, and he's really good at positioning himself in this lane to really put the pressure on his opponent.
Absolutely, and after watching last game, a Rumble really getting a heavy lead on the Vigar. Well, yes, Vigar is a late game champion, and really credit to Manatsu coming in really strong with a closing performance. But I mean, honestly, he kind of rode the coattails of Septi last game, and Septi's who I want to watch. He was in the right place at the right time to be able to clean up a lot of things. And if Dreadzone's not careful about their health bars when that man is in the area, it's gonna spell doom. Especially, the Viego with the ultimate just picking off low health targets and becoming them. Seeing a good Viego is gonna be very interesting if he's good on this champion. But overall, Faye, non-biased opinion, who do you feel has the upper hand in this draft?
Ooh. I'm gonna lean on the side of Olympus here, mainly because I'm looking at the really strong engage with Rel and Orin. If they can execute the engage well, I think DZG should be on top, as long as they're not eating too much poke from the Ziggs, Ashe, and Gnar.
I
That's the
100%
caveat.
agree. I really think that if they utilize the tools that they have effectively, they're really gonna be able to take over this game. We didn't see it last game. Maybe they had a little bit of a stern talking to from Aiden, and things will get back on track. But ladies and gentlemen, that is all from us as we head into the spectator delay. Catch us in about 3 minutes as we're gonna bring you game two. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back bringing you game two of this series. And like we said, definitely want to see some things change here for the playstyle of DZG Olympus to really execute some of these massive ultimates they have available to them. Um, both teams fanning out for standard level 1 5-point defense. So, Faye, like, What are your some of the thoughts going into this game?
I am looking for one of the control mages in mid lane to just absolutely stomp on the other. It's all going to pan out to who eats more poke.
Right, and we're seeing Rise somehow winning that one out, getting his first Q in and dodging out of the bomb, giving a little bit of the penguin in honor of his namesake, and just a little pokey here and there, and hey, they got that sweeper onto the ward.
Are they? Are they?
Okay, I guess that was an interesting interaction. They're like, "Hey, we're doing this. You want to stop us?"
they
No.
just, they
Okay.
just, they just want to admire it.
Yeah. Just wow. That is a beautiful ward. What ward
That
skin?
is,
Maybe there's
that is
like a
such a
whole
lovely
conversation
board.
there.
Absolutely beautiful. Okay, Mobster has dodged like every single Q the Ziggs has thrown, and at this point, if I was at that Ziggs, I would just be depressed. I would be sad. He assists everyone.
I wouldn't be sad. You've got a 1 CS lead from that ward, feeling great. That means it's actually gonna get to level 2 a little
Okay,
bit
he hit
quicker.
one.
That one hit.
He
But
did it!
yay! And I mean, those bombs do a lot more than Rise does, and we're seeing
Yeah.
that tier coming out. The Rise is saying, "Hey, I'm playing for late. Let's go, bud." As Tony's got his,
He's
I'm
walking
sorry,
at him menacingly.
Power over Ethernet has his clear coming in on the bot side, and you know we're just probably gonna enter another lull state here, Faye.
I just wanna watch mid lane because it's just really entertaining watching the Ziggs and the Rise go back and forth and poke each other.
Oh, and
except
when it's not a
Mobster's
lull
dead.
state, as Viego gets in there, does get the lockup onto the Rise, and Rise falls to that Ziggs. First blood going over to Manatsu, and you said you wanted to see one of those control mages pop off rather. I don't think that's the one you personally were hoping for, but you got your wish.
I don't care about which one at this point. I just want to see one of them pop off and just have a blast this game. Get it? Get it?
You know, I might be too young for an aneurysm, but how hard my head is gonna hit my desk, it might just trigger one. So we do have that first blood going over. Rise able to teleport back in, make sure he didn't lose too much of CS, and it's actually holding the CS lead. But that first blood gonna allow this Ziggs to recall, pick up a dark seal, and it's gonna put him in a fantastic spot for this lane, I think. Ziggs does have the teleport, opts not to use it as the wave did crash into his tower, and might have been a little bit of a sub-optimization, but we'll see if it costs him later.
We're seeing Rise walk down to the bot lane. He's just
He
asking,
gets the
hey,
root.
what's
The
up?
Rel goes in. Rel forces the flash out of the Ashe. A lot of damage coming onto this Thresh. As the Thresh does turn around, get the hook. Support now being under fire, as I think this Rel will fall. Does indeed fall to this Ashe. The Ziggs teleporting down, so was not punished for that lack of use of the teleport earlier. The Rise does pick up the kill on the Thresh, but the Ziggs does take down this Kaisa. The flash coming out from the Gnar, who did join down here with that teleport play, running down this Rise, will not get them, as that was a flash for nothing. But 2 kills coming over for 1. Definitely going over to the side of Omega Gaming in that trade. Ornn does still have his teleport, so there is a teleport advantage now on the side of Dread Zone, but definitely not what you want to see if you're a Dread Zone fan here.
A lot of action early compared to last game.
And
they were listening to the stream like, man, casters are bored. Let's give them a show this time.
fantastic use of that satchel, just pushing power over Ethernet away. As you know, we look at some of these CS leads, and maybe bot lane is not going to be a repeat of last game. As you know, Ashe is now sitting on a 7 CS lead, has that kill that went over to the right person, and the carries of the side of Omega Gaming are getting what they want. Fantastic call for the double teleport coming from Omega Gaming to really turn around that play in the bot lane. As now, we just see these trading patterns coming up. I think this one's going to come up Ornn, as he's just waylaying into this Gnar, who does get the passive off. Flash coming out, and Tony Lil picks up the kill on the Gnar. I didn't think that was going to be anything coming of that, but Gnar had no summoners after going down to that bot lane play, so Tony Lil took great advantage of that, used his flash, got on top of the Gnar, and was able to get that last auto attack off, as we see Viego now posturing in the bot lane. Bot lane's going to face check into this. He misses the stun, and Rel is able to jump out, but now the hook coming in. Fantastic job from the side of Ahop, who has landed 2 very crucial hooks now, but Dread Zone has 2 members here. They have the Hecarim, they have the Rise, but is it going to be enough? Power over Ethernet goes in, a lot of damage coming out, and he might now be in trouble as the Viego goes in, layers a lot of damage, but gets locked up. and dies to the Rel. But Ash did manage to pick up this Hecarim as the Ornn teleport comes through, gets a lot of damage onto this Ash. Will it be enough? Do they have the damage? Rise does get the root, gets the Q, gets the shutdown on that Ash, and we are seeing, I think that was a 2-for-1 for the side of Dreadzone Gaming, as they have all members down here. Ornhorn's coming out, but it's going to be way too late as that recall does finish its channel. And wow, a lot of action going out. Goldbeat's still sitting in favor of Omega Gaming, as Ziggs does, I think, get a plate from that. Kaisa goes to answer that wave in the mid lane. And Faye, holy hell, there's just so much going on.
You know, I'm noticing a consistent problem in these games.
Mm-hmm.
Nick
What
keeps
is
getting
that?
kills. Support just keeps taking a kill each time. It's just really funny to me.
I mean, that one was just so chaotic. I don't think.
No,
there
yeah,
much
that
to
was
do
just
with
so
that one.
chaotically. Yeah, there's so much happening in this early game compared to last time. And now the mid laners are both even in kills. Rise actually has a assist up on the Ziggs, though he did get solo play gold. He does have some stacks on his Dark Seal. Might want to be a little bit wary, but his tier is stacking. This Rise is not playing for early. He's waiting for that late game to come on in.
Now, I didn't see how much it was, Faye. I imagine it was a
450 gold shut down to the
yeah.
Rise.
I was about to say I wasn't sure, but I imagine it was a 150 bounty, so that does alleviate a little, or it does alleviate one plate worth of gold. As we're seeing the trading pattern come out, Gnar just hops away and says, "Not today. I've learned my lesson. Gonna give this this elder goat some respect, as maybe not so much as walking back into that trade pattern." But a lot of posturing here now for this Drake, but I think it's just going to fall over to the side of Omega Gaming, who have been doing a fantastic job this series, getting these neutral objectives. I think, they gave up one Drake last game, but they secured 2 Heralds, Nash, and I think 3 Drakes last game, to the side of just losing 1 Drake. So their neutral objective control of this series has been fantastic. We're now seeing a Realm Warp coming out from this Rise. I said watch out for that cooldown. Gnar was Mega, just throws him away as soon as he comes in. And that's just going to come up no for the side of DZG. They don't really get anything out of it. Not even a Summer. They just get the ultimate from Gnar, who...
I don't know if you saw that, Jace, but when the Gnar ulted Rise back, there was an Ornn pillar there, and Rise got stunned into the pillar.
Just a second. Never mind, it's not going to be enough. Flash not available for Tony Low, as he almost does take down that Gnar. But yeah, I did see that. That was definitely an interesting interaction, so...
I didn't know that was interaction, but that makes sense because once you collide with something that's solid, and Ornn pillar is solid, so.
It is. Ash Arrow comes out, does smack onto the Rel, as we do see Viego down here, forces out the Rel's flash, but now the hook comes in, and this support has not been missing him, but the damage is not going to be enough, as the turnaround does come in favor for the side of DZG, but now Septi going a little bit too far. Power over Ethernet is down here. Kaisa, I think, will get this one. The Viego is now a Rel, as yes, does fall. Now we see Rise smacking onto this Ziggs, who is making a desperate attempt to get away. He has to burn that flash, and that was 2 kills to the trade of 1 in favor of Dreadzone Gaming.
They're really bringing back this lead. That gold lead is now shifted to DZG Olympus, as they're cleaning up their act from last game. I'll tell you that much for free.
I definitely agree. And, Rel was able to survive for so long here, give Power over Ethernet the time to really get in there, and forced, Viego to think that it was safe to overstay. And I will say, though, we haven't seen A-Hop play a hook champion once in LHG. I'm sorry, not LHG, Aegis. Apologies. Have not seen a hook champion once from A-Hop in Aegis, and yet a lot of these hooks are just landing when they need to. Hook onto that Rel, the hook on in the bot lane when the earlier fight happened. These hooks have been on point. Naturally, that one didn't go in the way that we wanted to see, but we do see Gnar go in, get a 2-man Gnar ult, and now focuses on to Power over Ethernet, who is healing a lot from this Conquer. Does get the kill onto the Gnar, but it's not going to be enough. Will fall, and Mobster Penguin now falls to, it does look like it went over to Septi on this Viego, who, different champions whenever he wants to be, always confusing. And 1-for-2 trade going over to the favor of Omega Gaming. And man, Faye, I hate that as a caster. You see, oh, Hecarim got a kill. Wait a second, Hecarim killed Rise? That doesn't quite make sense.
I play Miko, so I've been conditioned to understand what a champion changes.
Yeah, but not on the scoreboard. Come on, Riot.
Your poor scoreboard.
But
you
once
fool,
again,
while you were studying the scoreboard, I was studying the champion icon.
But once again, we do see the side of Omega Gaming picking up another one of those neutral objectives. And this is 4 minutes before plates fall, as now A-Hop is being the focus of a lot of damage. Realm Warp coming out. Rise is going to be in the great position. Support getting in a huge 2-man knock up there. And Pepsi going on a killing spree, getting that kill, and Monster picking up the second. Harold was used in response on the top side, and Tony Lil definitely getting some of it down, does not connect with the Gnar there, and I think 3 plates going over to the side of Omega
Plates went
Gaming.
over.
Now, power or over Ethernet gets in there, gets the CC onto the Viego, who is now shut down by him. Focus now going over to this Gnar, who does fall. Power over Ethernet, picking up a double kill, and he is having a much better performance and effective ganks this game.
He's doing us so much better this game. You know what? First game was just a warm-up game for them. This game, this is the real game one.
Well, his ganks last game were effective, especially in the bot lane, but the problem was his Graves was there.
They were too centrally focused in the bot lane, and that Graves was really good at tracking where he was, so he was always there to respond to them for cleanup. This game, though, now he's the one on call who's responding.
Right, absolutely. And, you know, that play up top, you know, Harold was dropped. And, you know, they were able to mitigate some of the damage there and actually get a lot of gold back in their pockets from the plates that they lost. But Faye, these neutral objectives, if you're a Dreadzone fan, they're starting to scare me a little bit. Dreadzone has, what is it, a 1 to now 7 neutral objective score. So Viego's now here in the bot lane. I think Monster Penguin might be in a little bit of trouble as the W from the Viego connects and a quick kill going over to this Ziggs, who's now sitting 3-0 and feeling pretty good about himself with 6 stacks on that Dark Seal. Support now looking to posture, does not see anything. Maybe a hook will come out here from A-Hop, who has been hitting them, and I don't think we're going to get anything out of this. Ziggs moving up, but hey, Monster Penguin falling, has teleport available, but that's going to give them full control over the Strike Pit. And I just talked about how I was not liking the neutral objective control coming out of Dreadzone.
You know, maybe they talked about it and they're just trying to give like first 2 and they're going to fight over third. Maybe that's their plan. Because they didn't even try to posture for it.
They didn't, but they really weren't in the position to posture for it. As now this tower is looking a little dangerous. We know what Ziggs Satchel Charge can do. I think this will be first tower, absolutely first tower going over to the side of Omega Gaming, who have tied up that gold lead with that first tower gold. But the choice was really taken out of their hands there, Faye. Like, Rise was dead. He died in the side lane. Didn't have a chance really to posture for that Drake. So maybe you're right. Maybe we'll see a little bit when third Drake starts becoming an option, but it's a Mountain Drake. Maybe it won't be as highly contested. But you know, that's
if they don't contest it, I have memes to make.
I don't. Is that a part of your job as content creation? Is making memes?
Yes. It was in the job description.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to rewrite that job description. As we're seeing the trading patterns come out here, Gnar is about to go Mega. Will he do anything with it? And I think he's just hopping out because power over Ethernet. I don't know if Gnar knows. Actually, it was just pinged out, so I do think they have vision up there. We'll see when Hecarim completes his recall. Sorry about that, Faye. Just wanted to make sure we covered some action if it came out.
It's okay. The meme was just going to be that DZG Olympus is playing the PvP only edition of League of Legends.
And, you know, it has been working out for them in this game, at least. They have gotten a lot of mileage out of it, but, you know, that gold lead. We do see that Goldenhorn coming out now, as the Thresh Lantern was there in time. A-Hop doing fantastic this game. Despite, you know, not having the positive scoreline that they might want. I've seen a lot of efficiency coming out of this Thresh from somebody that I haven't seen play Thresh in this league. So now we're seeing things kind of being postured here in the top lane. I think this will be another tower falling in the favor of Omega Gaming Fury, as they will increase this gold lead to probably about 1,000, maybe a little under.
Just a little under.
Just a little under. So, all right, Faye, we see this game starting to lay out itself, right? We're starting to see the identities and how these teams are playing this. What are you looking for now?
So right now, Olympus can't win these fights. They're strong enough to do that. But their gold lead is faltering because they're not getting objectives, which is a really big problem. They need to start getting turrets, they need to start getting dragons.
We see the
heralds.
ghost come out, a lot of damage going on to this Ziggs, and I think that's going to be a shutdown going over to the Monster Penguin. That is absolutely huge. If you're a DZG fan, a lot of gold going into the pocket of this Rise, and that, I think, takes the gold lead once again, swinging it in the opposite direction.
600 gold to the Rise. That's a big shutdown. And that was enough to tie that lead back up again. They're neck and neck, just fighting for this goalie, just like the first game.
Right, and you know, it's going to be up to either team to break it wide open. Last game, when it rained, it poured for whichever team really took a solid lead. And it started happening about 5 minutes from now, so let's see if we see some identical patterns. But let's say we get that full 5v5 team fight here, Faye. Who's the target? Is it the Ziggs? You want the Ash gone? You want to try to take out this Viego before he's able to do Viego things? What do you want to do? What would you do?
If I'm Olympus here, what I'm looking for is the perfect magnet storm to at least catch 2 of the 3 following targets. That Ash, Ziggs, and Viego. You want to catch at least 2 of the 3 of those targets in that magnet storm. If you can do
One
that,
horn
you
coming
win
out
the
here.
fight.
Now, the Nar's being focused up. Does get rid of for the Everfrost. A lot of damage going out. Nar responds with a beautiful ultimate to throw Tonalil into that wall. And I don't think they have enough damage to really get any more of these kills. As I see, we're seeing some stuff break out behind the tower. We're focusing right now on this one versus Viego. As Viego is definitely winning that. Flashes in to get something. Misses the pillar. Misses the headbutt into the wall. And Dreadzone, I think you just back away. Or are you still looking for this? Yeah, we have 5 members on the side of Dreadzone here posturing, and Ziggs is just, you know, doing his demolition duty in the top lane. We have Drake spawning in 45 seconds. The second Herald is up. I don't know if he'll get this tower. He should be able to.
He's gonna C4 it. Yeah, he
Yeah,
gets it with
there it
C4.
is. And yeah, that tower will fall, and Ziggs, I think, got everything he wanted there, as they were just kind of duking it out in the bot lane. Ziggs was saying, hey, I'll blow shit up. I'm all for it.
Ziggs is just such a problem this game for them.
Right, and I think he's been there for, yeah, the mid lane first tower and then that tower there. I think he wasn't there for that first tier top lane tower. And honestly, I think he can walk into the bot lane, throw E out, and get another one. Unless it falls to minions right here, or Gnar decides to go smack it twice. But look at the map right now. We finally see Dreadzone in a strong position for a Drake, and Viego is saying, alright, cool, I'll go for Herald. We see the power over Ethernet getting onto this Gnar. Gnar does not have the Mega available. Damage coming out. Power Ethernet now on a killing spree as he does secure that kill. Now sitting at 5 and 2. Septi went ahead and picked up that Herald. Another Herald going over to his, but I think this is finally going to be a DZG Drake. And
But
it
is that
is.
Drake really worth it for the repair when this enemy team has so much push potential?
Well, we'll have to find out as we're seeing a lot of CC coming out. Enchanted Crystal Arrow hitting along with the Thresh Hook. A lot of damage going out, but this Ornn is a tanky man. He just walks it out.
That Ornn just does not care about what that team had to say to him. He did not want to buy their Girl Scout cookies.
That was either Ornn doing his best Mundo cosplay, I think, is what we just saw. Ornn goes where Ornn pleases. He just took an Enchanted Crystal Arrow, a hook to the face. Viego's down and was like, "I'm going up here, guys." Just
I'm
kind of
going
walked that one
home.
out. But yeah, no, we see Omega Gaming setting once more on this Herald, and honestly, every single time I've seen one of their Heralds drop, it's been extremely efficient. Ryze is now on that upward slope, needs that needlessly large rod before it's able to complete that
Archangel staff.
Thank you.
Once he gets that Archangels, he's gonna be online too. And like this Ziggs is really scary too.
Right.
He's on his way to a Void Staff second item, which is kind of questionable this early as nobody really has any MR. I can see why he's doing it, though I would have gone for Horizon Focus second, but that's just me personally. I
Well-
can't see why he would want the Void Staff here though.
I want to ask you a very interesting question. Maybe you might not know. We might have to toss this to the stands and ask Silent Elements, but that's a Wit's End first item on that Ash. Is that meta?
I don't know. I need Tree here. He understands ADC meta. Tree's probably in chat. Oh, mighty Tree. What the heck is Ash building?
Alyssa, can you go ask Silent a little bit about this, because I have no idea and
My
I am
head
so
hurts.
confused. But we do see, you know, some of these items waiting just right in the wings. Ryze finally picked up that needlessly large rod. Just needs a little bit more gold to combine those 3 items, that Antome, that tier, and that item together to really get online. And I think we'll have a much more interesting game. I did not mention earlier that the Gnar went for that Cole option, which was interesting as well. And you know, hasn't had the greatest of times surviving these, but has had a few moments where some of his Gnar ults look decent. We'll see if he's able to really get in there and find
He
the,
also got a Mana Mune.
Wits End is griefing. Passive of Ash relies on grit.
Which is
I had
true.
thought so. But yeah, Ash went for second item Manamune. Doesn't have the
This Ash
the
also
Kraken.
went Hail of Blade.
This is certainly attack speed. Ash is certainly very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. But I mean, we'll see how it does. I'd love to see the damage charts at the end of this game. I think Ziggs is probably gonna have a lot of it because he's, just the man with the plan, sitting in the back line tossing bombs. But we're seeing some posturing now around this Nash and just some vision clear. Power over Ethernet goes in, knocks the A-Hop's Thresh back, and now Viego's going to be the focus, taking a lot of damage, blown up, but does use the ultimate. But I think ticking down, ticking does fall to that Ignite. Now we are seeing Ash fall almost instantly. Wits End or not, I think you're just dead there. Nars looking for an opportunity to maybe turn things around, does go Mega, but it's not going to be enough. Ziggs does get a lot of damage out. Flashes, I think, in the wrong direction. Gonna be the target here now, as we do see Pepsi layering in that damage. That was a full ace. A little bit delayed because A-Hop died really before they could get that last kill in, but I think they turned right here immediately onto the Nash. And we said last game, Faye, once, it started to rain, it really poured, and I think we're really seeing Dreadzone start to find the options that they want and crack some of this game open. This turn onto the Nash is going to be really important. A little bit of lone members here, power over Ethernet. Kind of with a little bit of a scary health bar, but he's saying, hey, look, I don't think we have to worry about a contest. Chanted Crystal Arrow does come in. I can't see the health bar on this Nash, but I have to assume it's going to be good.
About 1k.
Yeah, we're seeing now pings coming out from Omega Gaming, and they say, hey, okay, let's hurry up and get this Drake while they're on reset timers. But Dreadzone have 45 seconds to make it back to this Nash pit. I'm sorry, Drake pit. I think they win a fight here. Look at all this gold that Dreadzone just got. Look at the shutdowns that they're sitting on. And, we're talking about effective itemization here. Ziggs does have the lane injuries. His poke's going to be fantastic, but that's not going to do as much for you in a full-on fight. And Viego's going with the Wits End too. And I've never seen this man without a board.
So
It's his item.
I did consult with Tree. I did DM him to ask real quick. And according to him right now, Wits End is broken right now, but he doesn't know about the Muramana on the Ash, but apparently every
Oh, we see a
ADC is
huge
building
hook come
right
down.
now.
And it does look like Ziggs was able to kill Rise. So yes, huge hook coming out from the side of Omega Gaming. They got there first, they got the damage out, but now Kaisa picking up a double kill, and Hecarim picking up another kill. It's going to be 4 members down on the side of Omega Gaming, and 2 members lost for the side of Dreadzone, as I think they got what they wanted. Drake should be on their sights now, as Kaisa's saying, hey, y'all have this, I'm going mid and blowing up this tower. Ziggs might be able to get there in time to lay a little bit of a smackdown, as the Kaisa's not the healthiest person in the world right now. But does get that tower. I think we'll clear this wave and probably back out in time. But maybe not. Ziggs does have a good track. Will not get anything for it. Kaisa's just able to pop that E-walk up, and I think Dreadzone 100% get this Drake. They do. 2 Drakes to 2. 5k gold lead for the side of Dreadzone Gaming, and we talked about it. I think this game is getting blown out of proportion from the neck and neck that we had. Faye, like, what are you keeping your eyes on now?
Right now, I'm watching for Olympus. They got the lead. They took the lead back, and now they're growing it. I'm looking for them to keep growing it and maintain the lead, because in the past, Olympus has thrown leads like this before, so I'm watching for them to maintain this.
Well, hopefully that's not the case here, but,
Personal experience.
I definitely think that Omega Gaming got the perfect thing that they wanted there. They got a great hook onto the carry of Omega Game, or I'm sorry, Olympus here. And with that hook, they were able to blow the Rise up. Ziggs was able to secure that, and from there, it should have been their story. But, Dreadzone was so far ahead and just able to put out so much damage and just shred it through the other members of Omega Gaming. So, this Gnar is not having a good time, and this Viego is just not finding the moments really to capitalize. Now, I don't know too much about this Wits End here, Faye. Like, I can't really speak too intelligently on how
Well,
strong it is.
according to Tree, Wits End is really, really good right now, and pretty much every ADC is building it, which is probably why we're seeing Ash and Viego both buying it right now, is because it's just a very strong item. Though, again, he wasn't too sure about the Muramana. I'm not too sure about it either. Her mythic is so late, like, it's 25 minutes of the game. She still doesn't have a mythic. I think she's kind of trolling just because of that alone. Like, everyone else in this game has a mythic but her, and that's really, really bad.
And another thing that I want to talk about, you have Rel, who's super tanky, you have Ornn, who's super tanky, and look at the members that you would normally have to deal with that. Go ahead and list them all for me. It's gotta be the Viego, it's gotta be the Ashe. You don't have a Kraken Slayer on your Ashe, and you don't have a Bork on your Viego. Are you really gonna burn through these tankier members of Dread Zone? And if past experience throughout this game has been any sort of indication, that's not the case.
They're definitely really struggling with these
We see
tanks.
Power over Ethernet in dangerous territory, but he's a fast little pony. Just pops E, gets away. Sorry about that, Faye. Go ahead.
Call him Rainbow Dash because he's going fast.
Oh no. Nord does hop the wall, gets the slow onto the Rise, but it's not going to be enough. Rise answers with the Everfrost, but now Viego looking a little bit in dangerous territory. Power over Ethernet does get the perfect angle in the E, but it's not going to be enough if Viego uses his ultimate to get out of dodge. A lot of things happening here, but ultimately no members on either side dying. Couple abilities used. That was the Ghost, that was the ultimate out of the Hecarim, and that was the ultimate coming out of the Viego, so... definitely some things to keep your eyes on, as it's going to be a little bit before we have another neutral objective. Ornn's now walking really, really slow, but I talked about it. The only member that can really shred him is the Leandry's Ziggs. Like, it's not going to be fast. So, you know, Ornn says, hey, you remember that time that you caught me in the top lane jungle? That's going to be this whole game, baby. I'm just going to get hooked, not care, walk away, because y'all don't have the damage to kill me.
They just have like such a tanky front line, and so this is my opinion. Feel free to disagree with this, Chase. I feel as if they've tunneled so hard on scoops, they're letting Kaisa do whatever she wants in this game.
Well, I mean, who really has any sort of lockdown? Unless you hit her with a hook or an enchanted crystal arrow, or she positions so poorly that Gnar is able to get, you know, the throw into a wall, you're not going to see it. And also, we talked about frontline differentials, right? Gnar's not built for frontline. He's built for the side lane. Asterix Gage, a Divine Sunder, he wants to be in a side lane, and he's not winning the side lane game, right? So it's super interesting to see how things are going to pan out here, as we're seeing a little bit of a bush stack, and they're just going to try to rely on A-Hop performing on this Thresh, who, you know, I still say it, I think anything that we've really seen come up great for Omega Gaming has been A-Hop, or for this game, rather. We're seeing the retaliatory teleport in now, as both teams are kind of dancing around this Nash pit. Nothing really going to come of this just yet, I don't think, but I think that things will really be broken open over fighting for another objective. The side of Omega Gaming is split, and Pepsi, not giving a single care, walks into both members of Omega Gaming's bot lane, flashes in for the second kill, a solo double kill from Pepsi, and that was a lot of balls coming out. Now the Ornn getting the lockup here with the assistance of the Rise Everfrost onto this Gnar, and the rest of the members of DZG pushing in to this mid lane tower. Ziggs is able to wave cleared away. Now Dreadzone has all the options. They have a Drake, they have a Baron, and I think Gnar is just saying, please, please, somebody let me out, as he desperately tries to get away from Mobster's Rise. And the members of Dreadzone here are going to collapse on it. I think Gnar is probably going to have an avenue to get out. Does pop the teleport. No, he does get killed. Just in time, Monster Penguin flashes on that and says, you're not getting away. Dreadzone do respond and take down the Gnar and the Drake at the same time. So 3 Mountain Drakes. These tanky members that, you know, we talked about Omega Gaming not having the damage for, I think that problem has just got exaggerated, Faye.
This problem is only gonna keep getting worse. I think if DCG gets this Mountain Soul, this game is kind of over for Omega Gaming here. They won't be able to handle the front line. The Hecarim, the Rel, the Ornn, they're all just so tanky. And it looks like Ashe is going for a shield bow and not Kraken Slayer when they need her to be able to deal with the tanks.
They need her to be able to do something, and I really want to see these damage charts, because in my brain, oh, we see the attempt. This steal does come through. The vehicle gets in and gets out with that Nash, and oh, you do not want to see it if you're a Dreadzone fan. Does this give them time to stall the bleeding? We do not see the full fight coming out yet, as the Ornn tries to connect, does connect, but it does hit this Gnar. We see Power over Ethernet in the backline, does get the solo kill onto the Ashe, healing up through his Conqueror, but Gnar is able to take them down. Monster Penguin does fall to, I think, the Ignite from A-Hop here. And Dreadzone, that is not what you want to be doing here. You did not have to 50-50 that Nash, as now they are running away from this Gnar, who is looking at these low health bars. But, I mean,
A
that was
little
definitely...
overzealous in the chase, honestly. They lost the Baron. They didn't have to push that fight as far as they did.
Absolutely, and those were one of the moments where you're, as a team, going, oh shit, how do we get something still for this, right? Because if they were able to pick up those kills and were able to turn things around, then it wouldn't have been so bad. But instead, the opposite happened. They tried to save the play and ended up just costing them more. Cost them the shutdown on Mobster, cost them the shutdown on PoE, and now, you know, we're just sitting here with plenty of time for Omega Gaming to try to get back in this game with the Nash, with different ways to apply pressure, take some control over their jungle, maybe get some control over the lane states, and well, we'll see what could happen. Quick stopwatch watch. Kaisa does have her. Ziggs is almost completed with this Rabadons and has his Zanya, so two very important cooldowns to see boil out as we go through. That was Ryze's stopwatch and not actual Zanya's, so not gonna have access to that if Mobster needs it later.
Right now, what I think we need to see is Olympus needs to be looking to close out this game. It's gone on for far too long for the lead that they have. Like, this game should have been over like 5 minutes ago.
It should have, but you know they wanted to play it, I guess, safe, and they said, hey, we'll just end it with a Nash, but they
I
opted into
mean,
50-50ing. They didn't have the right vision control in the back of the pit. As a beautiful enchanted crystal arrow will land on PoE. He does get hit with that, and then a follow-up hook. He is forced to use his onslaught of shadows to get out. Gnar looking maybe for a little bit more, as he is Mega now, but that's all they're gonna get. A lot of stuff used there for just the expenditure of PoE's ultimate, but that puts them in great position to push down these towers, and Ziggs is blowing them up. Let's see if they're able to get any more, if they're able to break into the Dread Zone base here. They do have the Demolish procking. It does proc, and they do have another tower here. Dread Zone, are you going to fight this or not? As we see support going in. It's a huge three-man engage here. Members just dropping left and right as both Thresh and Ashe fall. Another member falling as Viego and Gnar fall. I think two of those going to the Kaisa, two of those going to the Hecarim, and Dread Zone. You waited, you played the patience, and you got your reward. 4 members dead on the side of Omega Gaming. You have time now. What are you gonna do with it?
you gotta push it down. Like, they could have stat checked them and won at that last dragon fight. They don't need to let this game keep going. They just need to run it down mid.
Well, we're seeing them do exactly that now, as I think support did step on a few more mines than he could handle, and did tie to the Ziggs. But these super minion waves and the wave clear coming out of this Ziggs will not save this mid lane tower. Don't think it will save this mid lane inhibitor. Ziggs ult does come back up, chunks out some of these members. We see the Thresh now. Is he going to look for a hook? He does, but it's not going to really do anything. It does push Dreadzone off of this inhibitor. They're backing away. They want to establish, I think, control over this Drake pit and get themselves this soul. And I think if you're the members of Omega Gaming, you want to stop this. Mountain Soul on these already tanky members is going to be really hard for them to deal with, as we're seeing kind of the jockeying for position. Rel is not here, and Dreadzone concede the pressure. They're going for their buffs, they're going for their jungle, and saying, alright, let's have all 5 members here, look for it, and what are we gonna see?
I'm waiting for this Rel. Rel has to be their the trigger puller here.
Well, Gnar is sitting here smacking members, and Ornn pulls the Ornn horn, gets the Thresh, and Tony with a beautiful steal onto that Drake. And now we're seeing members starting to fall as Kaisa picks up the kill on the Gnar. The Ashe takes down the Rel, and it looks like we just have a 1-for-1 trade. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming out does hit Tony Lil, but it's not going to be enough. Rise damage starting to go out, but he's picked up by the Viego, who I think was a Rel at that time. Manatsu going on a killing spree, getting a lot of damage out here, but the members of DZG are just too strong. This Kaisa is insanely powerful, picking up a triple kill here, and a full clean ace. Well, not clean, sorry. A full ace coming out of the side of DZG, as well they only lost 3 members. Pepsi is doing so much work on this Kaisa. And that soul going over to the side of DZG as well. It's, you know, it should be their game. They are firmly in the driver's seat as they are now pushing in and should break this bot lane tower and inhib.
It's what I told you, this Viego, like, he's tunneling on this Rise, and the problem is not Rise, it is this Kaisa, who's an absolute menace right now to his team. and they're just ignoring her. She's been able to do what
Look
she
at that
wanted for
damage!
free. Like, look at her go!
Pepsi tried to go all in for it, used a lot of abilities there. I don't think that was the right decision. Now won't have access to that flash as power over Ethernet does look to get in. The hook coming out, A-Hop does throw the lantern out. Kaisa, you don't have that flash anymore, and that will spell her doom. She might get the trade kill.
She almost
No,
took
Ash
out
is
Flash.
hightailing it out of there. Will not get the trade kill. And Pepsi, you overstayed and you just gave a huge shutdown over Nash spawning in 1 second. You don't have that hyper carry and a full 1 minute till they're available. Does Dreadzone have the tools to win the fight 4v5? And I don't think they do.
I don't think they do either. I think their best hope is power over Ethernet trying to go in for the steal.
Right, and we talked about it time and time again. Ash did finish up that shield, though. Will give them a little bit more survivability, as Omega Gaming maybe just want to barrel in and try to just take this fight in the side of Dreadzone's base. They're pushing in, looking to clear out these waves. They have 5 members strong here, and we have a full 20 seconds on this Kaisa. Damage
Eating
coming
a
out.
lot of poke.
Huge ultimate coming out from this Hecarim as we now see the Orn Horde come in. I think that hit 4 members, maybe even 5. Damage going out, but it's not enough. The Sterix Gauge being popped. Hecarim will fall. The Rise will fall. A lot of the damage going out. Rel is able to get in there, get a huge 4-man engage, but it's not going to be enough. And we do see 1 kill over Gnar going to fall, but, you know, Kaisa's now here, but now looking down the barrel of 4 members of Omega Gaming. And I think, Pepsi, you getting caught out there might have just cost the game, as there's still 4 members here. It's now up to the Ornn and the Kaisa to defend these 2 Nexus towers. And I think that will be fine. We see a lot of minion pressure in the bot lane here, Faye. And I think the members of Omega Gaming are just going to go over, take the Nash, and then defend their base. They might not even have time to defend take the Nash. Look at their base. It's getting obliterated here by super minions in their base. Was that both Nexus towers? I
That was
cannot
both
tell.
Nexus towers to the minions.
Right, and that's an exposed Nexus, and I think we still have another, what, minute, maybe 2 minutes before we get another inhib, as the members of DZG are starting to respawn. You know, Kaisa and Ornn were able to hold off that onslaught, but that was a scary situation. Hook comes out, Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out, Kaisa is not looking too happy, forced to use the ult defensively there, as now we're seeing a teleport. A-Hop does fall to that Rise. DZG do not have the teleports to get inside that base, as we see the bot lane inhib has not respawned, neither is the mid lane. And now it is a 4v5 in favor of Dreadzone. Ornhorn coming out, hits 1 member on the backswing, and King on this Ashe does fall to Pepsi, as we're seeing the members of DZG now going in. I think this is their game here, Faye, as we're seeing more and more members of Omega Gaming drop. That was the Gnar, that was the Ashe, that was the Viego. All these members are just dropping. They're looking to get this last kill in the Ziggs, but Rel will fall instead. Nexus gonna go down, and we have a 3-game series as Dreadzone Gaming take Game 2 away from Omega Gaming Fury.
See, greeting for the kill there on the Gnar and the Ashe.
I said it probably 7 to 10 minutes ago, Faye. That was Dreadzone's game to lose, and they almost threw it. And looking at these damage charts, I told you that Ziggs pumped out an insane amount of damage. And Ashe, an almost 40-minute game, and you did 21,000 damage on this champion. I don't know if the Wits End into a Muramana was the right play there for this champion, but I just wasn't feeling it. Also, Viego, you're the Ruined King, and you didn't build Blade of the Ruined King. That is so weird to me, Faye. But definitely, I don't know if I've been out of the game too long, but these itemizations are just so weird, especially when you're looking down the barrel of a pretty beefy frontline from the side of Dreadzone Gaming.
This game itself was just a little bizarre with like seeing the new items from the patch notes, because this is the first day of new patch or second day of new patch. So we're seeing all the new changes being in effect right now.
Right, and it is maybe it's experimentation time, but we're seeing a lot of funky things here coming out from the side of Omega Gaming. We will be taking you here shortly into the draft of Game 3. Ladies and gentlemen, catch us shortly after a quick break for Game 3's draft of Omega Gaming Fury versus Dreadzone Gaming Olympus. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back bringing you the draft phase for Game 3 of Dreadzone Gaming versus Omega Gaming Fury. We're a little bit into it here as we see that Dreadzone Gaming has elected to take the blue side in Game 3. I'm sorry, Omega Gaming Fury has opted to take red side. Apologies. We're seeing some of these bands that we talked about last game really coming out with the Graves, Wukong, the Gwen, and Volibear, Xinjiao, and Sejuani coming out from the side of Omega Gaming. So no changes here in the band department. Looking now for that first blue side pick.
Who knows what they're going to pick here? I'm expecting them to lock in that Kaisa again. Did really well last time. It's still open, but I'm wondering if OGF is going to have another response. Instead, they're actually going to first pick the Hecarim here, which Power over Ethernet did really well in the last game, so...
Absolutely, his performance in Game 2 looks so much better than his impact in Game 1. And honestly, Faye, I really can't think of any draft adaptations that I want to see from either team. I think Dreadzone played their comp fantastically, minus a little bit of a overstep with one of their members. But for the side of Omega Gaming, I really feel it was their itemization that really cost them. And I don't want to beat the dead horse too much, but they just couldn't deal with the tanky members of Dreadzone. And also a little bit of their target prioritization was off. We do see Ahop, who I do think played really well Game 2 on that Thresh, going with a more comfortable option with this Karma again. Now, if you're the side of Dreadzone Gaming, you might think that that's going to be the Jinx that they want to pair it up with, and Dreadzone might look to take it away, and they go for a Samira Faye. I think this champion is so fun to watch.
I think we're going to see a Samira Rel. There it is. This is an Olympus trademark. This was a signature lane from support and Treebees back in the last league they were in. Oh, instead they're getting the Oriana for Scoops. He was not allowed to play this champion all night, and now he finally gets it. I'm a little surprised they didn't lock in his Cassiopeia, which is also open.
Well, that's one thing to really point out here is Scoops had the option last game and opted for the Rise. Now you have the Samira coming in, and if you're the side of Omega Gaming, there's one ban that you have to do here, I think. We both know what it is, but, I mean, the question is, will the other one be the Rel? Do they want to take a support's Rel away? And then just put, maybe Tony Lil again with the Orm, or something like that. So I'm interested to see. We do see that Rel coming out, and I think I can guess what that second band's gonna be.
They can't stop Nautilus Rel.
Well, I think there was a little bit of a draft oopsie here, and I'll talk about it in just a second, as I'm waiting to see this next red band. But I think... Oh, they go for the double support ban. Okay. Well, I think that Silas ban right there really telegraphed a potential Malphite ban. And I was really expecting to see a Malphite ban come in from the side of Omega Gaming. But they said, hey, look, we don't want you to have access to a really strong support. We don't want the Samir to really pop off. And Dreadzone Gaming say, hey, look, you know what? We're taking away that Viego. We're taking away all your comfort options. Oh, you don't have the Hecarim, you don't have the Graves, you don't have this Viego. And
they don't even take the Malphite away.
They don't. And
they don't even take the Malphite, they take the Yarn instead.
Wow, alright. I was 100% expecting a Malphite Oriana there. But, I mean, let's think about it. Hecarim does what Malphite does just as well-ish, right? And then also another thing that I really want to talk about, and I think Symphonic was the one that mentioned, the coach of Elysium. He said, look, Malphite and Hecarim do kind of opposite things, right? Like, Hecarim scatters people, and Malphite, just knocks them up. So, like, when you want them kind of concentrated, you go with the Malphite. When you want them a little scattered out, you go with the Hecarim here. So it's really going to be on some fast fingers coming out of Monster Penguin as the answer to this Ornn, who, we've seen 3 different answers from the side of Omega Gaming, opts for the Cho'Gath, even though the Gnar was still up for them as an option. I feel like they said, hey, whoa, we did not like that matchup. Let's maybe shift it to something a little bit more frontline, a little bit more tanky, because if we recall correctly, the Gnar went for the Divine Sunderer build. He wanted to be in the side lane, and he was not in that side lane. So, Samira needs to be real careful. All-off hits are, and I don't care how much CC you have on the side of DZG, you don't stop that Olaf from getting access to your Samira. So I'm going to be really interested to see how things pan out on the team fight avenue as, we have the Sivir coming in, who I don't expect will go Wits End. Maybe looking at a more traditional AD carry build coming out of this pick for King. So there's a lot of speed here for this Olaf. Faye. A lot of speed from the Karma, from the Sivir. It looks like they really want to blow up the Samira, but they're really going to have to rely on the Ziggs to deal with the other members and really kind of lay out this damage and have some tank shred if you're not seeing it come out from this Olaf.
They just want Olaf go fast.
And maybe that's the answer, right? Olaf go Burr might be the play here. As we now kind of wait for everything to get into draft, let's go ahead and talk about this from the top down. So, the Ornn into Cho'Gath is literally Tankapalooza, but Ornn, I feel, has some innate strength there with his passive. And I don't know who you're really getting more valuation out of, just mainly because the champions do so many different things. Ultimately, I'd probably say the Ornn. In the jungle, we're seeing another matchup. If I recall correctly, I think Trey really does like the Olaf into the Hecarim, but I haven't really seen too many Olafs lately. So tell me a little bit about how you feel about Ziggs Orianna, because personally I feel it's kind of like a handshake.
This is a handshake lane. However, what's going to change is going to be how well Orianna can position the ball in lane, and how well Ziggs can position around ball and try to land his poke on the Orianna. Orianna should not have actually as much minion over the wave as Ziggs can. I think Ziggs' wave clear is better than hers early, and I think it just remains that way throughout the state of the game, and that's just because of how their kits are. That can change though, depending on, again, how ball's positioned and if Mobster can just bully the Ziggs away from the creeps.
I am going to really be keeping my eyes open for level 6 in this lane. As soon as Hecarim gets access to that Onslaught of Shadows with the Orianna Shockwave, Ziggs needs to be scared and sitting on top of a satchel, like, almost constantly, just because of how that can quickly not go in their favor. But this bot lane matchup, we didn't get the Nautilus, we didn't get the Rel, because, Omega Gaming said, whoa, hey, we'll go ahead and let your top lane have something a little bit more comfortable, and decided to double ban support there. Do you feel it paid off for them?
I don't think it does, because his support pool is very, very diverse. He has a lot of champions he can pick from. Not only that, there are so many supports that can go well with Samira to help her do what she wants to do. You really like the Galio pick here. I don't really like it. I think that Leona would have been better. But Galio's not like the worst support. He still essentially will let Samira do what she wants to do. Hell, if anything, he can keep them in her ulti.
Well, absolutely. And Galio is able to still offer a knock-up, which you wouldn't get with the Leona. So that's something to consider. But I mean, I do really like the synergy here between the Hecarim and the Galio. The Hecarim is able to go deep, maybe with or without a ball. And even if not, like, Galio can buy that Hecarim time and buy the Orianna time to get a beautifully placed Shockwave. And it's really going to be a matter of how Dreadzone is able to respond to what this Olaf wants to do. He's going to be a fast boy. He has Karma. He has Sivir. And Samira needs to be very, very safe. Or maybe even Orianna, right? If Olaf decides, hey, you know what? Samira's not really worth my time and I want to deny this Shockwave, Orianna might not be able to worry about ball placement and might have to just hightail it for their own life. And even if you have Phase Rush, Flash, Barrier, and whatever the case, I still don't think you're outrunning this fast as F Olaf.
He's gonna go fast, he's gonna run him down.
Right, it's probably not gonna be like top speed Hecarim that we've seen, right? But like it's gonna be a quick boy.
You know what? They shouldn't even play the game out. They should just let Hecarim and Olaf get like all movement speed items and just let them race it down mid. That's how they decide who wins the game.
Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving into Game 3. We're going to have a little bit longer of a spectate delay, but I am super excited to see Game 3 pan out, and plot twist, if Dreadzone Gaming do pick up this win over Omega Gaming, I'm going to give some subs out. I gotta do it. I'm super excited. We have our emote, finally hit affiliate, so I want to see a Dreadzone Gaming win. Faye, how you feeling about it?
Let's heckin' get this bread, gamers.
Oh, gods. Anyway, we were going to go to a quick spectate delay. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for Game 3 of Omega Gaming Fury vs. Dreadzone Gaming. And a couple things that I want to point out here, Faye, that we've seen. First of all, if you've been on the blue side, you've been having a good time, right? And also, these games have been so neck and neck up to just a breaking point. And once that breaking point happens, one team runs away with the game. And I want to see if that's going to continue to be the trend as we have, these mid laners do not like each other. Orianna popping Phase Rush gets so much damage on that passive from our autos, and Ziggs is probably going to take a recall, and I think so is the Orianna. As they said, hey, kind of just giving each other the middle finger in the mid lane here as some axes going out. We're just kind of getting a little bit of a standard 5-point with just a lot more BM. These guys really just duking it out.
Getting a little excited. Yeah. All across the map, lots of poke from the mid lane to the bot lane.
So Faye, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just looking at that mana crystal refillable star on the Orianna. A little interesting considering you're sacking the health Doran's ring gives you as well as the mana it gives you as well per minion kill. This is an interesting call from Mobster here. But he's trying to rush either for that tier or that lost chapter early.
Lost Chapter feels so good on any control mage in the mid lane. But one thing that I wanted to bring attention to, one thing that we talked about last game was the fact that, the side of Omega Gaming just wasn't equipped to handle tanks. Faye, what are you really seeing here from King Civil that kind of tells that story maybe again?
Dark Harvest Silver!
Dark Harvest with a tier start, right? So, I'm gonna keep an eye on this itemization. I mean, Tony Lil might just have another free pass to be a big boy moving through this game as we're seeing just kind of, a lot of poke actually going over. Sivir picking up her first Dark Harvest stack and smacking it onto that Samira, who is gonna have to keep an eye on those because Dark Harvest on that Sivir does pump.
Well, it's only going to be really good if she can get that lead early and maintain that lead early. Though Sivir is really good in the meta right now, so who knows? Maybe that'll have changed. Maybe she can just pop off either way, but we'll see.
Right, it's definitely going to be quite a thing to keep our eyes on. Is members on the side of DZG definitely losing here in the trade wars. This early game is starting to boil out, but it really hasn't about these early games. Yes, these early games have kind of, been hectic. We've seen a lot of action going on, but most of the time, these teams are coming out super even out of these early games. So, late game, Faye, who are you really giving the edge to?
This time, if the Sivir can get ahead, I'm putting it to Omega here. I think their comp is just better. I think that Olaf can be an absolute menace, especially with a Sivir Karma backing him up. And the Ziggs artillery from the very back and a reliable front line with the Cho'Gath. I think Omega is set up for success here.
Right, and I really want to keep my eyes on this bot lane. With support being pulled off of that rel, I know that he's a fantastic player. And can do a lot with this Galio's. We're seeing a lot of trade coming in. This Orianna is taking a lot of damage. Might have to be forced to burn the flash, and it might come in too late. Ziggs forward flashing as well, will not get it. Flash for flash, and one auto attack more would have done it. And Spell Doom, taunt coming out, connecting on the Sivir. Does not get anything, but does maybe protect Samira as taking another Boomerang Blade to the face, giving King Civil yet another Dark Harvest stack. Oh, Dreadzone Gaming, I know we said the early games haven't mattered too much, but it's looking a little scary here in some places as we almost get the solo kill in the mid lane, and Sivir's starting to get things going the way that they want. So I know it's super early to say anything really for that matter, but two more of these Boomerang Blades connect, and Samira might not have a good time. We do see both junglers posturing down here, Faye. Who wins this 3v3?
Ooh, I think Omega wins this. Samir's already so low. And
yeah, absolutely. Sivir walks in, gets a free spell shield in here as Olaf might be diving under the tower, gets knocked out by support. And now Samira goes in, gets a lot of the damage, but support ends up picking up another kill that he should not have. Ignite going over to the final tick. We have Samira dive for the life of Olaf. And I think, yes, Olaf got that kill and support picked up that kill on the Galio's. So, oh, we are seeing now Power Reaver Ethernet taking a lot of damage. It's able to get out after that tether falls off. A lot of action going out here in the bot lane as we are seeing Tony Lil get very favorable trades onto this Cho'Gath. One more Brittle Pock will end that Cho'Gath's life. But going back to it, that wasn't worth for the side of DZG. Olaf felt perfectly fine dying for that, getting the kill, and Sivir is now sitting on a 24 CS lead over this Samira. Granted, Samira is able to come back, pick up some of the CS, but
This
I
just
can't
isn't looking good.
I can't say that was worth it for the side of DZG. Yes, they got first blood, but it went to a Galio. They got a return kill on the side of Omega. That went to an Olaf, who we already established this team comp is built around. So, what do you think is gonna happen? Do you think we're gonna be playing around this bot side of the map, letting the top island thing play out?
I think we're
Or-
going to be playing around bot side of the map because both of these ADCs can snowball the game. If Sivir can get the lead early, she's going to run with this game. If Samir gets the lead early, she'll run with the game. And right now, Sivir is just so much stronger than Samir right now. They just can't handle all of this poke in the bot lane. They just have no agency to do anything they want in this lane. And it all happened as soon as Samir just got completely poked out, like before she even stepped foot in this lane. She can't even farm anymore. And that's just really, really bad.
Right, and I mean, it almost went in the way of DGG's favor. I think if they were able to get the first spot on the Samira, it wouldn't have been as bad. But, you know, that last little tick of Ignite coming out before Samira could get one more auto off just spelt the doom. And once again, Dreadzone's not contesting these early Drakes. And Olaf is just able to pick up the first one, secure it just fine. And I honestly thought we could have had our first team fight here really happen around that objective. But, you know, PoE answering by clearing out whatever's left on the top side of the map. Plot twist, there's nothing. So Olaf with a perfect jungle clear, almost. Krugs just didn't respawn. And able to secure that Drake, and he's now, I think, gonna get the red buff from PoE. We're seeing a little bit of trading coming out here on the top side. As, you know, this Ornn has been trading very favorably into the Cho'Gath, but not really seeing that reflected in the CS department. And this is the first game, Faye, that we've really seen Dreadzone just not keeping up in the early game CS and wave states.
Oh yeah, like this is the first time it's really like,
Oh!
ooh, that Q.
That
Ooh,
Q
Samira.
almost...
Oh no.
This is going to be the end of Samira as we see all the members of
Oh.
all the members of Omega here, with the exception of the top lane. The axe from the Olaf ended up picking up the kill. Support is trying his damnedest to get something back. Drops the ignite on the Karma, does not get it as Olaf picks up the double underneath that tower. Now Samira and Karma just gonna sit here and pick up some of these plates. Maybe not, as the Hecarim looks to ult in, does not get it. Now he's facing the barrel of the Omega gun, and that gun was lethal as Sivir does pick up another kill. And if I'm counting correctly, Faye, I think that's 4 stacks of Dark Harvest already, 3 of which just came from lane state poking. And now Tony Low might be in a little bit of a dangerous position now, as the damage is going to come out. If there's a Satchel Charge available, it will be his doom. It is not available. Ornn is able to walk out, but I think Cho'Gath is able to get, yes, 1 plate, so that's going very favorably for the Cho'Gath. Faye, this is not looking good if you're a Dreadzone fan.
This game is just very quickly spiraling, and if I'm Power for Ethernet here, I just gotta sack the bot lane. I just have to focus on only mid and top. Bot lane is over at this point. There is really not much he can do.
I think that's the case, and you know, PoE was once again. We saw it last game. He lost the smite on the Nash, and he said, "Hey, look, I'm gonna try to go into this topside jungle," and it backfired. We saw it happen again. His bot lane, you know, got tower dove, and he wasn't there to really help out. And I think he tried to compensate by diving into the members of Omega Gaming, and it's just not panning out. He's trying to recuperate on these plays, and he just needs to say, okay, hey, look, I'm just going to get this wave, and we'll look for something else later. Wait for that ultimate, use it with the Sivir. I'm sorry, the Orianna. Sivir is just able to easily walk off that attempted taunt with the spell shield there, as now Olaf is on top of PoE. Lots of damage going on to this Olaf, and I'm sorry, this Hecarim, as the Olaf is just shredding through that pony. PoE dies for a second time. Olaf, we saw it game 1. This jungle gets big. Sitting on 4-1 on this Olaf, he is going to be a force to be reckoned with, especially since we discussed this comp is built around him.
This Olaf is just having the time of his life right now, and he's gonna be able to shred through these tanks too. Olaf is always able to do a lot of damage to even tankier champions. Little bit of action going on in the top lane here.
Yeah, I think that's two connected Qs coming out of this Cho'Gath. Tony Lil does not have his abilities to be able to answer, and Ziggs is now shoving Orianna out of the— oh, gets the solo kill with a beautifully placed bouncing bomb. Now we see the Ornhorn coming on the top lane. Cho'Gath forced to flash out. We see the ultimate coming in from Power over Ethernet, and he will be able to secure that kill. Solo kill coming in from the mid lane for the side of Omega Gaming, but the gank coming in strong for the side of DZG in the top lane. Sivir hitting yet another Boomerang Blade, picking up yet another Dark Harvest stack, and still, across the map at 10 minutes in, we're sitting at a 3.5k gold lead for the side of Omega.
This is not looking good. Like, this gold lead this early is just absolutely massive. And Olympus is doing everything they can to try and close that. Orianna TPing bot, but there's really not a whole lot you can do here. So it's a
Well,
little bit of a wasted cooldown.
absolutely, they were hoping for some sort of connect on the taunt, some way to get it, but Sivir and Karma just said, hey, we're hitting our zoomies buttons. None of your CC's gonna land, and Orianna was like, I'm here, but there's nothing I can do. Support goes in, that might be a little overzealous. I think that tether's gonna connect, and it did not. Sivir does not have enough mana, I don't think, to throw out any more Boomerang Blades, and Support, you got lucky those mana bars were looking the way they were. Oh, man.
This game is just really rough. The only way I can see Olympus getting back into this game is really, really well-played team fights. Like, I'm talking ideal scenarios for Olympus.
I definitely agree. They need to find ways to really get Orianna into the mix. Find these shockwaves. I mean, going back all the way from when I first started watching pro play, right? You see an Orianna and you say, you know what, this game is winnable, right? Orianna Shockwave is such a massive ultimate. Granted, the landscape of the game has changed a lot, but I mean, not really that much in the game state here. I mean, look at the side of Omega Gaming. They're really not rocking any new champions. This is a very old school kind of team. And then you look over at the side, as we see a little bit of action here. Cho'Gath is gonna be taking a lot of tower shots. Nothing gonna come of it. But like I was saying, you know, Hecarim, Orianna, kind of standard. The only real kind of new flavor you have to this mix is the Samira, and I guess maybe Ornn if you want to consider him that new, but he's been here for a while now.
Yeah, and I'm holding out a lot of faith.
Oh, we're seeing the all-in on A-Hop now on this Karma, as she might just survive. Not enough as the onslaught coming in, but now Olaf just going through, picking off people. Beautiful shockwave to deny that forward momentum, as Ziggs is now flashing forward, throwing some bombs, not connecting with him. A-Hop falls, but so does support, so it's a trade of supports. Both teams kind of jockeying around this Drake, and I still feel that with that Herald going down, that Omega Gaming is in the prime position for this objective.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
And once again, we're seeing that Ziggs do the work, picking up that first tower. This gold lead just getting huge. We're seeing the all-in. I think this should be it. Yes, it is. Tony Lil picking up the solo kill on this Cho'Gath. And that is some sort of glimmer of hope that you have. But that mid lane tower, tier 2, is looking dangerously low. Ziggs should just be able to blow that to high hell.
Oh, yeah.
Next Drake falling just fine. Satchel comes out. Tower goes down. And we are now sub 14 minutes. Faye, and we have 2 mid lane towers down. That is huge.
That is just what happens when Ziggs gets ahead. Like, he is just a turret destroyer, and there's really no answer for Olympus. They can't stop it. They can't deal with it. There's just no answer to a Ziggs C4 mine.
Now, Dreadstone really needs to slow down and say, hey, look, things are not going our way in this early game. And honestly, this is the first time that we've seen really massive leads generated in the early game. Out of this whole series. But they need to say, oh wait, things are not going well. They need to slow down, stop trying to salvage plays, and really just look for maybe a pick. I know they tried on A-Hop and they just couldn't quite close it out before the Olaf was able to answer. But they just really need to reorient themselves and try to find a way to get into a comfortable tempo.
The only answer, or the only thing about that is how can they do that at this point? They have a snowballing composition. How can they stop the snowball?
Well, I mean, they still have a lot of tools here with the Orianna and with, oh, Shockwave goes out. Sivir hit the E just for extra protection, but I think the movement speed had her well out of it. That's a huge cooldown that you're not going to have available as Olaf is looking to get some slow onto support here. Does connect. Now we see PoE going down onto the Ziggs. Will he have the damage? He's going to take a lot of damage. I think he went through the sweet spot of the Ziggs ult. Does get solo killed out by this, by the Ziggs. The Hecarim does, rather. And Omega Gaming is starting to just barrel into the inhibitor tower at 15 minutes, and I think they can do it. Orianna ult still not available. Hecarim axes landing one, or Olaf axes, sorry, landing one after another, slowing them down. Orianna is able to walk it out, I think, with that phase rush coming in. And the members of Omega Gaming still posturing around here. The wave clear just is not there for the side of Dreadzone to be able to really stop this push.
They just have no answer right now. Like, Omega has taken this game and they are now running away with it at top-notch speed.
Fate, there's 4 members here strong for the side of Omega Gaming, and Tony Lil is pushing the top lane.
Oh my
They're gonna get this tower.
They are just not able to be stopped. Olympus just can't do anything about this.
Well, luckily for Olympus, the Ziggs wasn't there. Olympus did bring back Ornn to try to answer the Ziggs push in the bot lane, but I know we talked about 2 towers down in the mid lane. There's 2 towers down in the bot lane, as now we're seeing the damage come out. Samira barely lives as the Galio ult comes in, I think, defends them, but I think they got what they came for. They got the tower, and now they got the kill and support. They might follow it up through with a kill and power over Ethernet. Cho'Gath Thief comes in, beautiful shockwave coming in here from Scoops, but it might not be enough. Tony Lil on the front line is just getting absolutely eviscerated. 5 members still strong of Omega Gaming as they take this inhib at pre-17 minutes. This is just a bloodbath, and now we're looking at an 8k gold lead, and this is just Omega Gaming's game. Another ultimate coming out from the Olaf. He gets on top of the Samira. She just goes down with that true damage E coming out from that Olaf. He's still pumping it through. A lot of damage coming here as Monster Penguin is slow, just looking to take some damage here.
Oh my god, they're going to end the game.
They are pushing for it. Galio is now back up, tries to get the taunt in. Might not be enough. One Slot of Shadows comes in. Quick 2 kills going over for PoE as he gets the Sivir, he gets the Olaf, and that is huge. Ignite coming down, Galio shutting down the Ziggs, and you did not want to see that. Support, you need to temper your aggression on these kills. Power over Ethernet, pushing forward a little bit more, does get rooted up with the Karma. Might not have the zoomies to be able to catch up to these members, as Cho'Gath and Karma are now running away with their lives. Hey, huge. Oh, it was enough, as Tony is able to get that E back, I'm sorry, PoE was able to get that E back up, utilize it on that Karma, get the kill, but I don't think they're going to get the Cho'Gath here, as Dreadzone Gaming barely holding on here, as that looked like it could have been game.
That was certainly very close, and before 20 minutes into the game, they were under their Nexus turrets.
Right, and if it wasn't for that beautiful ultimate coming out of PoE to get on top of 2 members, the 2 key members of, you know, Omega Gaming here, then that could have been it. PoE definitely trying to play his heart out. You know, has had a few missteps, like the 1v1 in the bot lane versus that Ziggs, but the team is just really trying to grasp some straws here to stay in this game. Another Drake coming up, and I think this has to be Omega Gaming's, as Dreadzone pulls in the Ornhorn, hits 2 members. Sivir is actually able to spell shield it, flashes the pit for some reason. I think she could have stayed. Teleport coming in now from Scoops, who might be looking for the shockwave. And apologies, Mobster Penguin. We have a little bit of multiple name here, crisis going on here, from the caster desk. But yeah, they're jockeying for it, but they don't have it. Single man shockwave coming in as power over Ethernet goes over that wall, and he was into a lot of stuff that he didn't want. Manatsu picking up the kill, and honestly, I have to think that Omega Gaming is just gonna start walking back into this this base now with Drake, member dead of DZG, and that is one of their strongest members, if not their strongest member. Sivir is half health. See some low health bars, but DZG does not have access to the Ornhorn. They do not have access to this Hecarim. I have to think you need to be clutching onto your lifeline here. If you're a Dreadzone fan, you're seeing the Samira go in aggressively, bring in the Galio with her. Will it be enough? It is not. Pepsi falls to that Olaf. And now we're seeing PoE back up on the map, trying to get onto this Karma. Does not have the damage before. The members of Omega, burn him down. Faye, I think. We said it earlier. I think this is it.
I think this is going to be a very early game end here. Like, this is barely 20 minutes, and they're
Absolutely.
going for that end.
Tony Low falls, support falls. This last Nexus Tower will fall, and 5 members strong. Mega Gaming Fury takes down Dreadzone Gaming in a 3-game series, 2-1 in their favor. And Faye, like that, they hit the gas pedal in that game.
Oh
Holy
my
hell!
god, that they took the lead and they fucking went with that. Pardon my language, but holy smokes. There was
Right?
just no break.
And I'm not sure what was happening on the side of a Dreadzone here, but the first 2 games, their laning looked so strong. They had CS leads where they should not have had CS leads, and maybe they just couldn't keep the tempo up, or maybe Omega Gaming just decided to hit the activation switch after game 2 and said, "Well, hey, you know what? We're gonna bring in the Sivir." Sivir was hitting Boomerang Blade after Boomerang Blade. Ziggs getting the solo kills. The only lane that was going in Dreadzone's favor was the Ornn, and they just weren't able to translate it anywhere. The Hecarim tried to salvage some stuff in the bot lane that just did not come to fruition. And well played, Omega Gaming. You
That
really
was
changed your tempo up and hit the gas pedal on game 3. So
they did not even give Olympus like a fighting chance.
certainly not. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another series of Dreadzone Gaming Olympus in the Aegis Protectors League. Tomorrow night we'll be bringing you the Aegis Guardians League with Dreadzone Gaming Elysium. So be sure to check that out tomorrow night at 8 EST. We'll be bringing you all the action. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you a good night. Faye, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Jace.